NHL. Baelish Forfire, Justin Cuthbert alongside the next 30 minutes. Okay, I got it all out.
You got it all out. I mean, there is some important context missing. You just dealt with a nosebleed on live television, so there's a little flustered. That's okay. We're all good. We're going to be all right for the Leafs and Hurricanes. Joe Bowen's got Notre Dame tonight. It's a big night around these parts, so we're pretty excited, but a big matchup here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's the first time we've seen the Hurricanes. This is like the perfect... You love a litmus test.
This is a litmus test.
This is the ultimate litmus test because the Hurricanes just play the exact same way from game to game, shift to shift, month to month, whatever you want to call it. The Hurricanes are a really, really good hockey test. So the Maple Leafs get that tonight on the road, looking for a 6th straight victory. You get up for these ones. Hurricanes a big one, and this is a big one on the road here on the Mentors trip. Try to cap that off in style.
It's still going on?
I believe so.
Holy party animals. Yeah, Leafs first in the Atlantic, 27-13-2. They're on the 5-game win streak, first time this season, after having 2 back-to-backs with the Flyers and the Islanders sandwiched in with the Bruins game. So kind of weird opponents as of late. But yeah, it's nice to play the Hurricanes because they're everybody's favorite preseason prediction, right? They're the analytical darlings. They're the team that is the greatest Corsi. People really like to pick the Hurricanes to be juggernauts every year. And right now they're 3rd in the Metro, 24-15-2, and they're 8 points behind the Capitals, which is crazy. 3 points behind the Devils with 2 games in hand. So basically they can, jump over them pretty quickly. But 8 points behind the Caps, I think, is a surprise to everybody because Carolina's usually been the class of the Metro. They still are, but the Caps have just had a pretty unbelievable year.
Yeah, they have. I guess it's mostly a commentary on the Caps when looking at that. But you mentioned they're still 3rd in the Metro, so they're still chasing the Devils, who I'm assuming have still played a couple more games than everyone else, given that they started the season so early. But I guess I've been a noted Hurricanes, not hater, but I guess skeptic over the years because really what it is to me with the Hurricanes is that they have the best coach in hockey in Rod Brind'Amour. We've looked at stats, and we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, where every team when trailing has a negative Corsi differential, that being the total shot attempts, give and take. And the Hurricanes just completely buck trends like that. Like even when they are leading, even when they are in complete control of games, they just keep going and keep pushing the pace. And people could say that's, maybe not the best tactic to take in terms of protecting a lead, but that's just what the Hurricanes do. They are the exact same team. And to keep that uniformity, to me, says more about the coach than it does anything else. I still think, though, that despite that, they don't win. They don't win when it matters the most. They have fatal flaws, and those fatal flaws to me still exist in that they're just not a team that's going to score with the likes of an Oilers team or even the Toronto Maple Leafs. Maybe not this year, given that they've changed their stripes just a little bit, but historically, maybe they would have problems keeping up. They're not as tough as the Florida Panthers were in big playoff series. I still think this team is a great barometer test, but I think they are high-end gatekeepers at their very best. And that's why I love these matchups, because if they're tending the gate, you can see tonight if you can bust through that gate and be one of those elite teams, because I really do think that the Hurricanes kind of are that metric test against that.
Well, that's why I was super surprised, and we just finished up our fan pregame where we talked about the Leafs being the longest dogs that they had been all season long. Like, I know the Hurricanes are a really good team, but they're not the number 1 team in the NHL. And the Leafs to be so heavily, I guess,
not a second half of the back-to-back.
Yeah.
They played games without Austin Matthews.
And everybody's basically healthy. They don't have Max Pacioretty in the lineup tonight, I think, and Reeves, because they're just getting a little rest. This is the healthiest the Leafs have been in a long time. So for them to be that heavily undervalued, I'm very interested in what goes into it. Maybe it's just to lure in the Toronto fans to pay money, because probably a lot of people saw that and bet on it.
That may be it.
That's probably it. We will have some lineup changes, as we mentioned. Pacioretty and Reeves are out. Holmberg and Robertson in. I think this is one of the few times where Pacioretty is just going to get a little bit of like a day here of rest. He's been really great. He's been super physical in the lineup. So maybe he's just taking a little wear and tear.
Yeah, and I think the speed element thing is a reasonable tack to take, certainly with Ryan Reeves. Like, Carolina doesn't mess with guys like Ryan Reeves, per se. They are a team that, as I mentioned, is pretty uniform. First line, fourth line, they play the same way. They play with speed. So getting some more speed into the lineup, guys who can keep up with that pace is probably a good thing. And as you mentioned, giving Pacioretty a blow is probably a decent look, given that he has been very physical this year and he's a little older. And if you can get some load management in and keep him at the top of his game, maybe that's a good plan.
All right, to continue teeing up Leafs and Canes for the first time this season, we'll bring in Anthony Petrielli, host and writer at Maple Leafs Hot Stove, joining us. Anthony, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you two doing?
Oh, we're good. We're excited to see what we're saying maybe is a litmus test for the Maple Leafs, because everybody loves the Hurricanes and they're always the Corsi Kings, the analytical darlings. So we were surprised to see that the Leafs were such long shots to win, plus 150, 160 on the books. Do you think it's justifiable with the way that the Hurricanes play and the Leafs? I just don't really understand the line on that. Not to start with betting, but I guess just the way that it's being teed up tonight.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising that they would be considered such underdogs. I mean, the Leafs are a good team, just plain and simple. They're in first place in in their division. I think it's a reasonably well earned. You could argue some of the stats as you kind of alluded to, but by and large, they had a month where half their forward group was out. Austin Matthews has looked like Austin Matthews for 3 games this year going. So, they're a good team. I think if a lot of teams were in that scenario, if we were looking at Tampa saying, hey, they're in first place and Braden Point has barely been healthy and now he's back healthy, I think a lot of teams would be worried. So, yeah, I mean, if people are going to underrate the Leafs, great.
You appreciate the finer things when it comes to the game of hockey. Of course, the Hurricanes, as Ailish mentioned, the analytical darlings, a team that does things from a shift-to-shift, game-to-game basis, if not better than everyone else, as good. And a lot of that is Rod Brendamore's doing, but a lot of it is, roster construction as well. When you look at, what makes the Hurricanes different than everyone else, what stands out to you? What impresses you the most?
Honestly, the level of forechecking that they're able to sustain. They dump the puck in a ton, pretty much more than any team for years. And they're really, really aggressive on the forecheck shift to shift, which is hard. We're looking at the Leafs trying to become more of that forechecking team over the past 2 years. And you see some games where it looks great, and you see some games where it looks absolutely awful. And Carolina doesn't just do it game to game. They do it shift to shift. I know you kind of mentioned they're 4 lines deep. They attack. They're not big hit forechecking, but they are pressure the puck, turn it over, get to the net. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Leafs break out. The Leafs have been dressing a big defense. I think it's been great in terms of, protecting the house, clearing the crease, kind of blocking things out from the critical standpoint, but they don't exactly break out cleanly. So how they're able to handle the forecheck and get the puck up ice, if at all, to the, shot attempt point is probably the battle. And that's going to be the big thing to contend with Carolina in general, just how aggressive they are on you.
We've used this dialogue, I guess, for the last week here because we approached the halfway mark of the season. We've met it. Now we're moving forward. So we're still going to cling on this. It's been half a season with Craig Berube's influence, being able to kind of look at where the Maple Leafs are going. And where have you seen his direction, his hand be the most different for the Maple Leafs when we talk about, is this team better? Are they going to be playoff ready? Are they going to go further? What's Craig Berube's style for you when you watch these Maple Leafs?
It's a good question. I was thinking about this very randomly today earlier, and just looking at it is really the lack of silly odd man rushes that they give up now compared to years past. For a little while, the Leafs were very much content to trade chances, and by and large, if you trade chances with the Leafs, they're more talented than most of the teams in the league, and they're going to net out ahead. If you're Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner and William Nylander getting odd man rushes, and whoever you have on your side you're going to take those 3 over most of the beat themselves. I know the Leafs goaltending has been excellent, but I do think some of the things they're doing defensively in terms of puck management, just making sure they get pucks in deep, making sure guys don't get behind them, their coverages, I just think they're giving up a lot less in terms of silly stuff that they have for, a long time. Even if you look last year when they tightened things up down the stretch, you'd go look back at some of the goals Boston scored in the playoffs, and you just kind of shake your head at how the play develops. So he's been able to kind of smooth that side out, but I think they need to learn how to create more offense within this structure. Like, that's the next step.
Okay, so if the overall net positive from the rush chance situation is maybe one of the more encouraging data points, is there something that has been discouraging about the first half for Berube and how his influence has impacted what has been, a group that has been largely and for the most part together for a couple of years now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I don't know how much you want to attribute it to him specifically, but ultimately it's all under his watch, is like the power play. I mean, at times it's been bordering on like lottery level mediocre. And this is a group that has finished top 10 every year in the Matthews era, except once they finished 16th. And now they're not even in the top half of the entire NHL. And it's the same guys. Like, I mean, there's no reason for it to be as bad as it's been. And it's like you look last game and they did technically end up scoring 2 power play goals, but you look at the first period they had, and Craig Berube was honest about it. He said, like, that was the thing that killed us that entire period. You have 2 power plays, you have 0 shots on net. They gave up a 2-on-1. They couldn't even gain the zone. Like, it's not as if they're constantly setting up and maybe not getting the looks that they want to or anything. It looks completely directionless more often than not, like not getting the zone properly, not setting up in any formation. Like, we're halfway through the season. I couldn't tell you what a Leafs power play goal is supposed to look like. I don't think anyone can.
Yes, it's a common discussion that we're having. I'm sure lots of Leafs group chats. People are very frustrated. All right, let's talk about tonight's lineup because we're going to see probably a change here in the back end. I know they're warming up right now, so we'll confirm it. But Riley and Tanev most likely paired up together. Do you like that? Because Riley and Myers have been given a good run, and Riley and Tanev was kind of the thought coming into the beginning of the season. With no Jake McCabe, it looks like Berube will go Riley and Tanev.
Yeah, I really like it, actually. I don't know what the hesitation has really been to this point, and it's kind of interesting. He had a comment today when asked about it, about pairing those 2 up, and he referenced that Carolina runs, the three lines with their top 3 scorers across the 3 lines. He didn't say that part specifically, but that's what he was alluding to. And I thought, like, well, okay, Tanev's your best defenseman in the lineup right now, but the other guy who plays the most is Riley. So if you're logically thinking to yourself, well, they spread it out, and now I'm playing my 2 main guys together, like, doesn't that seem a little bit counterintuitive? Like, wouldn't you want to spread them out in order to match the spread out formation? But so it's kind of weird the way that they have come to this conclusion, at least in my opinion, because Oliver Ekman-Larsson's been solid, but I still wouldn't necessarily say that he's better than Morgan Riley at this point. Like, there's a reason he plays a couple less minutes a night and, was a 5th defenseman last year on Florida when it was said and done. Like, that's really his optimal spot, as being a 5D. But in terms of Riley and Tanev, like, they started the season, they looked good. I didn't think that there was anything noticeably wrong about the way that they played. Like, stylistically, they obviously make sense. One guy's offensive, one guy's defensive. You have a righty and a lefty. Tanev is the best version of a righty that Riley has ever played with. Mm-hmm. So, you kind of look at it and go, yeah, this pair, if it's really good, then maybe you reunite Benoit and McCabe, or you reunite Oliver Ekman-Larsson and McCabe. That was both really good. Like, I think it gives them more options if this pairing works out, which my guess is it will.
It's hard to think that it can be better than Jake McCabe and Chris Tanev, though, because that shutdown pairing was awesome. And they, I think it was like second lowest 5-on-5 expected goals, and they were leading the league in terms of just shutdown ability. We don't know how long Jake McCabe is going to be out, but he's had some head injuries in the past. Let's say he's out for a month. Like, can the Leafs tread water that long? Like, he's such an important piece, and I think we've just kind of seen it over the last little bit of how much he brings to this team. How big of a loss would losing Jake McCabe for a significant amount of time be?
It's a significant loss. I mean, that's part of the equation too. Like you're right. Like that McCabe-Tanev pairing is excellent. It's not to say that they would be better with Riley there. It's just to say it gives them better options potentially in terms of McCabe leading another pairing. But that's the issue. It's like even if Riley and Tanev are really good, do they have enough on defense the rest of the way for this to be acceptable? Like, is an Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Philip Myers second pairing a good pairing? Like, that's not a second pairing on a cup contender, like neither guy. And then you have Benoit and Timmins, which again, not. So you have one really good pairing and then you have two squint and call them third pairings. Like the domino effect is significant. And I know that the last time I was on, you asked at the end, like, who would you look to acquire? And I just don't know how you look at this makeup and say that it's anything other than a defenseman.
Yeah, and the reflexive sort of answer there always when talking about a defenseman, maybe because Morgan Riley had so much success with him and Morgan Riley seems to be the guy looking for a partner, is Luke Schenn. And I don't know, maybe that does come to fruition, but it does seem not lazy, but just without, going into detail, people come up with that name. You are historically not lazy, and maybe you have a better answer. If you were looking for, the perfect partner or the perfect defenseman to fix what is probably an incomplete blue line, are there any names that pop into mind for you?
Yeah, I was kind of fishing around on this the other day, and I was thinking, and I know his name has been out there a little bit, but maybe not as mainstream, is Connor Murphy in Chicago. I'd be taking a big look at him because he signed through next season, so you're getting him for a year and a half. So that's appealing because it's going to cost a ton to bring in any defenseman. So at that point, you might as well try to get someone with term. He's 31, so he's not young. Like, it's not the most ideal, but he's a solid defenseman right now. He's big. He's right-handed. I think it gives you two quality right-handed defensemen that kind of settle in the defense in terms of, whether you want to run Riley Tanev or Riley Murphy and McCabe the other way. Like, to me, that's just a rock solid top four across the board where everyone's in their proper spot handedness wise. And it allows you to have Oliver Ekman-Larsson become the fifth defenseman that realistically he should be. And then at that point, it's like, who else are you going to include, between the options of Benoit and Myers and potentially Timmins? So it's really hard to find good quality right-handed defensemen. It's hard to get them even more if there's term on their deal. But in Chicago, it just kind of feels that something's got to give. But I know that he's also not playing right now, so obviously dependent on his health.
Fair point. A lot of people circling a lot of different defensemen for the Maple Leafs. Looks like that should be a key target for them as the trade deadline approaches. We're talking to Anthony Petrielli, host and writer at Maple Leafs Hot Stove. Looks like Joseph Woll getting the start tonight. Just how much more has your confidence grown seeing him handle this workload without Anthony Stolarz in the crease at all, and this amount of time of deciding who might be your A1, A2 goalie? Does this change anything when you look at when Stolarz does come back and maybe how they'll, do that tandem?
When Stolarz does come back, I would still just try to platoon them just to try to keep them both fresh, more so than a talent thing. Like ideally you just have them both rolling and fresh into the playoffs. But, I know Stolarz mania was like crazy early on, but Woll was full marks to me. Like, he's an excellent goalie. I think when he's on, he's as good as anybody in the league. Like, he's unbelievably calm. He makes, really hard saves look ridiculously easy. Like, almost so easy that I don't think he gets credit sometimes for how good of the saves that he's making, because he just makes them look so simple. And, he's been excellent for the Leafs in the playoffs in spot duty twice now. To your point, like the confidence is that he's actually just doing it every other night and it feels like fairly normal. Mm-hmm. Like we just have to normalize this. I know when Stolarz got hurt, I was kind of going, you have to play him. Like you're paying him. Like you've already signed him to an extension. You've basically anointed him the guy and your other good goalie's hurt and your other options aren't looking that good right now. Like this is why you believe in him. Like he has to also hold up his end of the bargain. And he is right now. And I think the most promising part of all of that is not even necessarily the fact that he's playing every other night. It's like knowing that the other options are just like, they're not good enough right now. Like they're not like you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go. What were you going to say?
I was just going to get to the last question for you, Anthony. We had some news this week, at least Elliot Friedman alluding to the possibility of Steven Lorentz re-signing with the team. You look at the bottom six, and it's clearly like there's holdovers and there's new guys. When evaluating them, is it almost as simple as, the new guys are what are going to be further invested in? Are there any inherited guys that you think have, some real utility moving forward, some lasting impact? David Kamp's maybe not the perfect example of that, but it does feel like this is a team that is trying to turn over, or at least a management team that is trying to turn over a roster, at least in the bottom six, and that Steven Lorentz maybe most exemplifies what they're looking for moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Dewar is kind of similar. He's smaller. He's faster, but he's smaller, right? But two guys that are maybe a little bit more limited offensively, but they're excellent penalty killers. They're both excellent defensively in general. They don't give up a ton. They're, you feel comfortable if they're taking defensive zone draws, generally speaking. Yeah, Camp is the interesting one for me because I know he gets a tough time because I know he makes a ton of money. But he is a quality defensive center in the NHL, which sometimes seems to get, cast over. Like, that's hard to find 6'2", good on the face-off, good penalty killing centers that you can actually sneak on for a few shifts against top six lines. Like, Camp very rarely gets quality line mates. Like, he's not playing with like high-end shutdown wingers. He's been playing with Brian Reeves and Connor Dewar, or in this case, Steven Lorentz. Like, it's a hard job, and you've kind of seen them cycle through centers a little bit in his absence. And to me, he's by far the best of those options. And he's also the only one, like Pontus Holmberg's been there a bit and Connor Dewar's been there a bit. He's the only one of those guys that can actually shoot the puck, like even remotely. So I think that they would want to keep him. If the money has to go to, do something bigger, be it defenseman, top nine forward, whatever the case, like at that point, it's just untenable.
Ooh, that's our favorite word on the fan pregame.
It's an outstanding word.
We love untenable. Perfect way to end our pregame interview. Thanks so much, Anthony, for joining us and helping us tee up Leafs and Canes. First time they're playing this year, so we're excited to see how this litmus test, our other favorite word, shakes out. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thanks for having me on. Enjoy the game.
Thanks so much. Anthony Petrelli, host and writer at Maple Leafs Hot Stove, as the Leafs are on the road to face the Hurricanes for the first time this season. Two of the elite in the NHL. Why
don't I give you the lines for the first meeting with the Carolina Hurricanes, at least from the Leafs perspective. Yeah. Not having Max Pacioretty tonight means some changes as far as the second line tonight. So the first line will be, as it's been, Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthews, and Mitch Marner. Bobby McMahon will step into Pacioretty's role, albeit it's been sort of in flux of late. It'll be Bobby McMahon, John Tavares, and William Nylander. On the third line, Nick Robertson, Max Domi, and Steven Lorentz moves up and plays on that third line. And Pontus Holmberg, David Kampf, and Connor Dewar, defensively focused fourth line for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. On the back end, as mentioned, they will go Riley Tanev tonight. Oliver Ekman-Larsson will play with Philippe Myers, and the third pairing will be Simone Benoit and Connor Timmins, with Joseph Woll getting the start tonight, looking for his sixth win in a row. The Leafs looking for their sixth win in a row.
Can they do it?
I think they can. They're big dogs tonight, apparently, plus 160 in some spots. But yeah, the Maple Leafs leading their division. Hurricanes fighting to move up, at least in theirs. I don't think it's as wide as it's at least displayed on the odds board.
Well, a quick tidbit: Marty Necas, who was on a little bit of a slump, just bleached his hair blonde. So I don't know. That might be what it takes to break out of his slump.
I am generally into some hair analysis. I thought it was a bit of a crisis cut for Joe Burrow, but he had a great season, so I may have been wrong there.
I might have to make him my player to watch on the other side of the break.
There you go.
But we'll have to keep you waiting for that. We'll be right back on Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
Over to our sideline reporter now. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
The Subaru winter has arrived. The crisp air and negative temperatures mean one thing: camping. Emerge from your icy tent and bask in 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. Enjoy the unmistakable smell of campfire through the glacial wind pummeling your face. Relax by the water, taking in the soothing sounds of thick ice cracking and popping. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
Working too hard to give you a heart attack.
You want to become good? Work. Laying at sweet 16s, parties, weddings, bar mitzvahs.
First record I remember buying was Time Out by Dave Brubeck.
Flabbergasted by that album, how good that was. You know the song Wipeout? I just adapted it to the piano.
The Billy Joel Channel is back on Sirius XM for a limited time. Channel 79 and the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that. Enjoyed it in Boston. Love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes. And we're seeing some young guys get a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only 2 players in the history of the National Hockey League that have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under Review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey.
We're about to bring the war right now. Sound the alarm.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Maple Leafs on the road to face the Carolina Hurricanes on a 5-game winning streak, the first of their season. They're looking real good lately, Justin.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the record is the record. The record is good. I don't know if it's been the
teams
finest.
That you can play against.
I don't know if it's been the finest stretch of Maple Leafs hockey. I think they're going to have to be better than they've been in consecutive wins over the Philadelphia Flyers to beat a team like the Carolina Hurricanes. But wins are wins. Points banked are points banked. But yeah, the level of Carolina is such that you have to raise yours generally. So we'll see if the Maple Leafs, who are pretty healthy, who have Joseph Woll in net, can rise to the challenge tonight at the tail end of the Mentors trip with a bunch of familiar faces in a press box there in Raleigh.
There you go. Healthy enough for the first time in a long time to have some healthy options to sub in and out. Pacioretty and Reeves out tonight. Holmberg and Robertson in. Let's get to your key to victory. Brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid. Proudly made in Ontario. Available now at your Ontario Honda dealer.
It is to match the work rate of the Carolina Hurricanes. We know what you're going to get from Carolina. They are pretty uniform. Shift over shift, they're going to forecheck. They're going to skate hard. They're going to play a disciplined brand of hockey under Rod Brind'Amour. What they don't have, and why they probably haven't won a Stanley Cup in the Rod Brind'Amour era, at least as a coach, is that they don't have that top-end skill. The Maple Leafs have the top-end skill. So if you bring the same work rate, your top-end skill, in my mind, should win. So if the Leafs are able to match what Carolina does, I like their chances to come out of this game with a victory with Joseph Woll in net and Pyotr Kochetkov on the other side. Not Joseph Woll. Not at Joseph Woll's level.
No one. Not many are.
Not one bit. The player to watch is presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca. Ailish, who do you have your eye on?
Okay, let's go to that top line, which has been absolutely dynamite since Austin Matthews' return, and before that as well. So I'm going to go with Matthew Knies. He's the only player you can really find some value on at this point, which is surprising because he's got 7 points his last 3 games, and he went 5 games without a point before that. He felt the heat, and now he's red hot. So Matthew Knies for 1 point, plus 125. For 2 points, plus 625. And for a goal, anytime goal, plus 375. I looked it up. Matthew Knies only has 3 teams in the NHL that he has yet to record a point against. Carolina being one, Vegas, and LA. And he's faced them 3 times. So I think he ends that drought against Carolina, and you can get him on 1 point, 2 points, or a goal and find some value there.
Interesting. As we know, Matthew Knies has his teams, right? There's a couple teams, Tampa,
Maybe
Boston.
this could be a new team.
Maybe he can establish a new team tonight. But yeah, Carolina makes it hard on you. It'll make it hard on that top line. But if anyone's going to pile up the points tonight, you'd think it'd be Matthews, Marner, and now by extension, Matthew Knies.
So I mentioned this before we took our first break there. Marty Necas hasn't scored since the 2nd of January. It's not that long, but been the
was once in the Hart
games.
Trophy race.
He was absolutely dialed at the beginning of the season. So pre-game warm-ups has shown that he has bleached his hair. So
you ever had a crisis cut?
No, not a crisis cut, but I do remember bleaching my hair when I played boys hockey, like the frosted tips.
What kind of response do you think an NHL team would get if they went that route? Like
And
everyone
what?
does the mustache
Like
and still,
bleach
right?
their hair?
Like, yeah, on the
I
start of
love
the
it.
playoffs, the Maple Leafs all of a sudden they're doing what
I think
Pee-wee
he's going
hockey
to have
players do.
a great game tonight.
Okay.
Because of that. So he's my second player to watch.
There you go.
I don't
What
usually
was
like,
the number on Natchez? Do you have it?
I'm going to get it right now. I don't usually like giving someone on the other team because, this is Molson Leafs hockey.
Mhm.
But when fate like haircuts and bleached hair comes into play, I think it's worth telling our listeners because they could cash in. Marty Necas plus 200 for an anytime goal.
There you go. A bonus pick with the crisis cut. Yeah, Joseph Woll going for his 6th straight victory. Leafs trying to do the same. A little change to the lineup. Pacioretty out, Reeves out, Holmberg and Robertson in. Kind of changes across the board for the Maple Leafs in advance of a big game, a litmus test tonight in Carolina.
All right, so we'll get you set for Puck Drop with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. And Joe Bowen's Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who we also see on the television tonight. See if we can get both of his teams a win. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Tennis fans, SiriusXM is getting you ready for the first major of the year, the 2025 Australian Open, as Novak Djokovic looks to continue history, this time pairing up with his former rival, Andy Murray.
And he stands above all others at the Australian Open.
On the women's side, Iga Swiatek looks to silence the doubters after a PED suspension.
He's done it.
Dan Graca and Tracy Austin host the Australian Open Preview Show right now on the SiriusXM app. Just search Australian Open.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. Two organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The Leafs Radio Network.
Opportunity to extend 2 winning streaks, both of them 5-gamers. 5 games in a row and 5 games on the road that they can win as they tangle with the Carolina Hurricanes in the newly appointed Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina.
What's Lenovo?
I have no idea. Probably a bank. I'm just going way out on the limb here, but it's probably a bank. I have no idea what a Lenovo is.
Yeah,
but
PNC was a bank. Right?
Yes. PNC was a bank. Yeah.
But yeah, important game for the Leafs.
The nice thing about going to Pittsburgh, it was a paint center, so you knew what the hell that was.
Yeah, I know. It's nice when it's self-explanatory.
It is. But you got to like the Leafs, the way they've been playing, and we can get you to the Guardians of the Gilded Gazebos. It'll be Joseph Wall, 14-6-0 for the Leafs and a 2.46 goals against average and a .915 save percentage. Pyotr Kochkov, 15-9-1 for the Hurricanes .250 and a .902 save percentage. Wall is 0-1 against Carolina lifetime, and Kochkov is 3-1-0 against the Maple Leafs.
And for Joseph Wall, that one start came back at the end of last year. The Leafs lost 2-1 in Carolina, but Joseph Wall was spectacular in that game, stopping 41 of 43 shots that he faced. Nick Robertson scored the only goal in a 2-1 loss.
So they're ready at center ice. The Leafs have moved left to right on your radio dial. Puck is dropped, and we're underway, and glad you're along with us. Leafs in their road white and blue, and the Hurricanes in their dark black with red trim as it goes down into the Leaf zone. Puck along the end boards, dug out there now by Svechkov. Back to the point, long shot steered wide by Wall, and it's cleared to center ice by Toronto. Swept by Brett Burns back into neutral ice. Along the board, Slavin getting it down into the Toronto zone. Out of the net is Wall to tuck it back and into the corner, and Myers gets it up ahead at center, and it'll be one-handed by Nyes deep into the offensive zone. Burns will reverse the puck for Slavin back of the net. Brought out on the right wing side. Burns looking up ice. A long lead pass. Gets to the line. Stumbling there was Tanev. The puck goes around back of the net. Hurricanes get to it first. Get it back to the point. Shot from the blue line was blocked by Tavares. Tavares with Willie. Nylander closing in on the right side. Hit the goal post on the far side. Nylander looking to break a streak of goalless play and almost did it right there.
Boy, you could tell that hit square.
Did it ever? Hurricanes get it out at center. Push it to the line and in. That may be a close offside look. It goes into the corner. Back along the boards now for Chatfield. Another shot, and Wall is down to cover up on that and hold for a face-off in the Toronto zone.
Well, Willie Nylander, 8 games without a goal for Willie Nylander, who still leads the Leafs in scoring with 23 and does not have a point in the last 4, but because as you're talking, we're looking at extending winning streaks, that doesn't really become a big deal. But boy, he just, and Kochkov doesn't even move on that opportunity. Willie Nylander coming down the right wing.
They may have to replace that goalpost. It might be dented. Leafs get in now, and a pass in front of the net for Myers, who had jumped into the rush, and it was just out of his reach. Down into the corner, centering pass, comes back to the point. Myers' shot went wide. Robertson looking for Lorenz in front of the net, but it goes around back of the goal. Good play by Lorenz to muscle his man off the puck. Down into the corner, centering pass, scores! Robertson in front of the net. Reinserted into the lineup, and Nicky Robertson. And a red-hot third line has opened the scoring for the Maple Leafs.
Nick Robertson back in the lineup, did not play in the game in Philadelphia. But here, the Leafs get the zone, and as you said, it was Steven Lorenz that does all the work on the forecheck, gets the puck, funnels it down to Max Domi, who's on the left wing boards. Domi looks out, and Nick Robertson gets a little bit of space. And when the puck comes onto his stick between the hash marks, it's just a quick release. Short side over the left shoulder of Kochkov to give the Leafs a 1-0 lead.
7th goal of the season for Nick Robertson. And that's a second shot on goal for Toronto.
Plus a post.
And plus the post. Played down into the Toronto zone, and Tanev going back. Teamed with Morgan Riley on the defense. A tandem that when Tanev was acquired, you kind of thought was a natural. But McCabe ended up being on the shutdown pair, and now with McCabe hurt, Tanev and Riley are teamed up together. Long shot gloved again by Wall, and it'll be held for a faceoff. And the one thing that the Carolina Hurricanes do is hope for volume to provide the advantage as far as shots are concerned.
Yeah, you see the Washington Capitals do this as well. Everything to the point. You got 3 guys going to the net, looking for a rebound, looking for the screen or the redirection. But for Nick Robertson, and we talked about this before we went on, obviously no insight into this, but I think one of the reasons he was taken out of the lineup against Philadelphia was the fact that it's the Mentors trip, and I think Craig Berube wanted everyone to get a shot of being in the lineup.
Out at center ice by Carolina. Leafs leading 1-0 on an early goal by Nick Robertson. As it comes up on the right wing side, backhanded in by Svechkov. And along the boards, taking his man in there sufficiently was Pontus Holmberg as the puck comes free. Or actually it was Connor Timmins, number 25. And it's down into Carolina territory. There's Nyes trying to get the puck away there from Chatfield and does a nice job, then lost it. Chatfield plays it up the boards, and it's going to go high to center ice. Settled down now by Carolina, and they'll shoot it deep into the Toronto end. Leafs are back behind the goal, organizing, leading 1-0. Myers in back of the goal, taking his time, plays it into the left wing corner. Then it's alley-oop through center ice to the Carolina zone. Good hustle there by McMahon to get it deep. Now Tavares tries to center. Nylander couldn't get it. He poked it off his stick, but it's knocked out at center ice and now shot into the Toronto zone. Banked in front of the Leaf goal. Good hustle there by Tavares to get back to break that up. And now a rink-wide pass brings Myers. Myers into the rush. Winds and shoots. And that was knocked away by Kochkov.
Somewhere Rick Vine had a big smile on his face, didn't he?
Yes, down the right wing. I'm going to wind up and hammer it. Except Vine scored about 40 of those when he scored 50. Not to say that Myers doesn't shoot the puck as hard as Rick Vine, maybe not as accurate, and the goaltenders have got a lot more padding going for them. Leafs with it now with a centering pass in front of the goal, and Lorenz just failed to get to that. Robertson couldn't come up with it on the far boards, and it's brought to center ice now and broken up by the Leafs, and now Domi takes his time and then had his pocket picked from behind, and it'll be brought back the other way by Carolina as they get it down in over the line, but it's offside as Nekash had problems with it right at the blue line and pretty much put everybody offside by having to make an extra move with it.
For Nick Robertson, it's his first goal in 6 games. But the 6 games before that, that's when he went on that heater and had 4 goals and 7 points during that stretch. I think a lot of people are very quick to say, oh, he'd never play in the playoffs. I think that's exactly why he would. And one thing Craig Berube has never questioned has been the work ethic.
Draw one by Toronto. Played over on the far side and in on the left wing. It goes. Camp trying to work it along the boards. Had difficulties with it. And it is pushed around, and a long shot is taken by the glove hand of Kochkov, and he'll stop play. 15:01 left to play in the first period, and the Maple Leafs leading in the game 1-0.
You almost wonder, Steven Lorenz, who played his first 2 seasons in the NHL in Carolina, you get the mentor strip, and you're going, who haven't I brought to Carolina?
Exactly. Well, we've seen some of them. Joe Thornton, of course, being brought by Austin Matthews. Mike O'Shea, the former Toronto Argonaut and head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, is on the trip because of Todd Bean. And John Tavares brought Dad. Okay, pretty good mentor, I would suggest. So Joe is on the trip as well. Down into the corner and along the boards. Cleared by Camp back of the Carolina goal, and now played up on the left wing side for Ty Smith. Smith will get the center. A deflection in over the line. Myers blew a tire, but is able to get the puck to the line. But now it's, it's over the line, and no one wants to play it. And now the Leafs do. Why didn't the linesman just blow that dead? Never mind. Marner's in across the line with it now. Trying to flip it in front of the goal for Matthews, and it goes around into the far corner. Matthews getting it back to the point. One-timer went wide of the net. A rebound is played out at center, and Matthews has it there. Matthews waiting for teammates to get onside before sending it in. Marner reverses it around the boards. It's going to go to the left point. Long shot blocked, and it's cleared out at center ice, forcing Morgan Riley back to it. Riley plays it off a stick and into Carolina territory. The goaltender out to play the puck in the corner, and now back to the net. Slavin with it, trying to organize and get things started here for the Hurricanes. 13:30 to go, first period. 1-0 Toronto. Hurricanes get it through center and across the line. Tavares takes his man out as the puck is set around the boards. Played back to the point. Broken up. Nylander has a breakaway. He's all alone in a goal. A little deke in the backhand. And that is stopped by Kochkov. A goal post and a save on a breakaway. And Willie, if not getting any results, has certainly got some hustle going tonight.
Well, and even just to be able to strip the puck at the blue line and take off, you get the feeling that Willie Nylander might be real close to having a breakout game.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Are you ready to thrive in 2025? Kickstart your personal upgrade on the SiriusXM app with our collection of top self-improvement podcasts.
The Mel Robbins Podcast.
The Ramsey Show.
Ask Eliza anything.
Soundtracks for meditation.
Learn and grow on a daily basis.
Genre-spanning workout channels, and more.
Soul Cycle Radio.
I work out. Just search 2025 on the SiriusXM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on SiriusXM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM Network.
Ralphie, as you know, any situation with your kids or your grandkids is a very big thing. And little Brody, who is just 3 months old, was hospitalized a couple of nights ago, and we were all very concerned. A bit of pneumonia and whatnot, but Dr. Wiley and all of the great folks at 4W in Markham Stouffville Hospital in the pediatrics ward have done an absolutely wonderful job. And we knew we were in good hands with Dr. Wiley because he saw all of the Notre Dame paraphernalia that little Brody has. And when he said, I'm a fan too, and I've been to some games, we said, you're our guy.
Now, he was an Ohio State fan.
No, we wouldn't have talked to him. No, we'd asked for somebody different. No, he did a great job, and we want to thank them. And little Brody's looking like he might go home tomorrow. Here's another break, and another breakaway, and another Willie Nylander, and he scores! Holy mackerel! What a play! Finally, Willie Nylander says, I've had enough of this. I'm putting one in the back of the net.
That'll snap an 8-game goalless drought. And he goes past the Leaf bench with some high fives. And I think Nick Robertson said, about time. But Nylander twice now. And both times, Joe. Well, the first time it was Dmitry Orlov. I think this time, was it not Chatfield that he stole the puck off of? And this time, instead of saying, I'm going to go forehand, backhand, a deke, I'm going to snap it where I beat you, but hit the post last time down the wing, and it was a snapshot blocker side, and the Leafs out to a 2-0 lead. 2 goals and just 4 shots on goal.
Well, we're going to tape that little tribute. I hope they hang in there. Keep the goal on it, guys. Here's a shot from the point, and that was kicked away by Kochkov, and it's played out into the center ice area. Down into the Leaf zone it goes. A good hit there by Benoit to stand up his man Robinson. And now it is Lorenz looking for an outlet. Got it up on the boards, and the Leafs get it out at center. Trying to push it in over the line. Good work done there by Camp to get it past a man and get it deep. Little battles, little wins end up being big on the score sheet as well. Played back out at center ice. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets it ahead, had it knocked away. Then he has to play it again. He was tripped up there, brought in over the line now by the Hurricanes with a shot that went well wide of the goal. 2-0 Toronto here in the first period. 11:28 to go. Played up on the boards, and it is pushed out at center ice by Dewar. In on the left wing, the Leafs trying to play it back in on goal, and it is swallowed up there by the goaltender, Pyotr Kochkov, and it'll be held for a face-off. Nick Robinson with his 7th. Willie Nylander with goal number 24 on a breakaway. 2-0 Toronto.
Nylander, when he scored the goal, it almost looked like there was an air of disgust with himself, right? I got to bury this one. It wasn't much of a celebration. It was almost as if he was saying that should have
about time.
It should have been my 3rd.
That's right.
In the first 8 minutes of the game. But, I mean, that's great news from a Leaf standpoint to get Nylander going again.
Well, and you know what? And the coach has a big part in that. I mean, he's not engaged enough. He called him out a little bit. And good for Willie to respond on it. Now, it's a positive way of doing it. He didn't overly criticize him. He just said, hey, you got to be more on the puck. You got to be more involved, and things will happen. Well, a lot of things have happened here so far. Got into the Toronto zone, along the boards for Nyes. Tried to chip it out at center. Nice touch pass to Spring Matthews one-on-one. Matthews in with a wrist shot. And it's into the glove and then thrown aside by Kochkov. Played high into the Leaf zone. Glove there by Timmins. Forced down into the corner, though, then by Sebastian Aho. Now Timmins with the puck in the far boards. Gets it up on the left wing, and the Leafs are out at center. Brought on by Tavares across the line, the drop pass. Back to Tavares, looking for Nylander in front, and his stick was lifted just at the last second. Timmins keeps the puck alive. Played into the corner by Marner. Centering pass for Willie from McMahon. Now Willie coming wide, going in center in front of the net. Tavares couldn't get the shot away, but Willie has it again. He's had it on his stick all night. Shot taken again, and a save with the glove by Kochkov off Connor Timmins. But Willie Nylander has been the star of the game as the Maple Leafs own a 2-0 lead. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news coming in from Bet3.
What's up, hockey fans? How we doing tonight? Thank you for hanging out with us once again for another Toronto Maple Leafs game. Please hit that like button down below. This is your nightly reminder. Please hit the like. It helps us bring more hockey fans here to the chat to cheer on our Maple Leafs while we go to get another 2 points. Thank you for being here as well. Another special instruction that I will save for a special guest. Take it away, Joe.
To share the link of this YouTube live stream on social media to help bring more football fans to our amazing community, changing the world one insider at a time.
Ready to deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Nyes has tied the game, but a brilliant play by Max Domi
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs 2, Carolina Hurricanes no score, and it's been the Willie Nylander game so far with 9:58 left to play here in the first period.
Leafs really just have had more jump than Carolina. I think it was safe to say. I mean, you were happy with the back-to-back wins over the Flyers. But you knew coming into this game, the Leafs were going to have to be better and going to have to be better right out of the chute. And they've been able to do that tonight.
Well, the Leafs looking to win 5 in a row, both overall and on the road. They're 9-3-0 over their last 12. And the other aspect of it is that they are playing exceptionally well, and they're being outshot almost every night. Not tonight. At this point, they're up 9-4 as the Hurricanes get it down into the Toronto zone. Myers roughhouses his man as it's played by Domi around the boards. Lorenz couldn't get to it. Centering pass. Oh, and there's that glove of Joey Wall snapping it out of the air with an awful lot of substance to it for sure.
That was Yaska, was it not? Youngster playing in just his 4th NHL game. Got the pass in the face-off circle to the left of Joseph Wall. And he tried to go far side, about 2 feet off the ice. It was a good shot, but Wall was able to snag it.
Juha Jaska. Played around the boards to the line. At least get it out into the center ice area. And then have it knocked away and then steal it back again. Benoit. A pass deflected in over the line. Pontus Holmberg inserted back into the lineup. And really, I think it's a situation where the coaching staff said, you know what? We got the mentors coming. Everyone is going to get a chance to play who has brought along someone to come and watch them play. And you know what? Good for them. I mean, that's...
Might be a little different.
Big old softy that...
You're 3 points out of a playoff spot right now. That might all go out to the
No, that might be changed. Yeah, you can be a big old softy when you're leading the division and in the hunt for the President's Trophy, can't you? Back of the net, stolen by the Hurricanes, but unable to get it in front with Svechnikov, and it's launched high to center ice then by Marner, and Nyes against the boards couldn't find Matthews with a loose puck. Shot by Carolina, back in. Out of the net comes Wall. A glance over her shoulder to play it into the corner. That bounces around on the dashboard. Nyes takes a bit of a hit. The puck comes free, and Marner tipping it out at center in a foot race for it. Marner's in over the line, hoping for some support. Takes a curl, takes a look back, has it back at the blue line. Still with it. Great pass on the wing, and a shot is into the equipment of the goaltender off the stick of Bobby McMahon, who was coming off the bench. What a great little play at the blue line made by Marner.
Well, he chips it out past the Carolina defenseman, and I believe that was Brent Burns that he got it past. Took off down the left wing side, didn't get the angle he wanted. So just a couple of little curls and wait for somebody to come late, and the guy coming late was Bobby McMahon off the bench. And he's breaking down the left wing side, but did not get it past Carolina goaltender. Leafs looking to extend this 2-0 lead.
Played out at center ice, and Nylander goes back to retrieve it. Plays it up off the boards. Played into the zone by McMahon. Nylander into the forecheck against Dmitry Orlov, but the Hurricanes get it through center ice and up on the wing. Brought in over the line on the left wing by Orlov. He's forced wide into the corner by the Maple Leafs' Simon Benoit. Puck back of the net for Connor Timmins. Got it up on the wing, but it was intercepted. Timmins couldn't get to it. Sharp angle shot taken by Roslovic was stopped by Wall. Back to the point, Orlov. Sending it back in from whence it came, back of the goal. Tavares tried to reverse it. That didn't work. Now it's in his skates. Back behind the net. It goes into the near corner. Benoit arrives in a mean attitude and takes his man in there heavily. Along the board, Seth Jarvis now into the slot. Trying to get it in front. Bobby McMahon, a good defensive play. Benoit will come away with it. Find his defense partner who will bank it out into the center ice area. Played by Pacioretty deeper into the zone.
Connor Timmins is going to be relieved. That was his giveaway that led to that whole scramble back in their own end.
No, that can't be Pacioretty. He's not dressed, so that wasn't him. Now we get an icing call.
Yeah, Pacioretty and Reeves come out of the lineup for Holmberg and Nick Robertson to get back in.
So it is a 2-0 Toronto advantage.
They get a couple of goals, 6 shots against. But one of those 6 was a great save by Joseph Wall. You know, you let that in, Carolina's right back in the game. So far, offense and defense have been in harmony in this one.
Shot from the point, deflects wide. It comes bouncing out in front of the net. Leafs can't get to it as it's cleared to the line and out into the center ice area. Backhanded again into Carolina territory with 6:43 to play in the period. 2-0 Toronto. A pass intercepted by the Maple Leafs. Here is Robertson sending it to the net. Blockered away by Kochkov. And the Hurricanes will get it up on the wing and try to move it out. They get it to center. Left wing side. Neckash into the corner. Round back of the net. Kotkaniemi gets it out into the slot. Shot stopped. Wall wondering where it is. And it's over here near board. No one really knew where it was. Pass off the stick comes to center ice. That was strange.
Even the Carolina forward seemed to be faked out by Wall that maybe he had it.
Neckash back to the point. Shot blocked. Rebound scores. Blockered initially by Wall.
I think Robinson was the one that got the rebound. But this hit a body in front and dropped perfectly onto the stick of Robinson, who swept it past Joseph Wall. Pretty simple play. It might have hit Robinson up high first, Joe, and then dropped right at his feet. Yeah, that puck was redirected halfway to the goal, got elevated into the midsection of Robinson, and then he turns and just swats it into the net as he beats Mitch Marner to the loose puck.
10th of the season for Robinson, and it cuts the lead in half, 2-1.
Fortunate goal in the sense that it was just a point shot, redirection, rebound, and in.
Fired down into the Toronto zone. Hurricanes back after it, 10-8. Leafs favored in the shots on goal. Another one directed wide there by Wall, though. Here it's Carolina centering, and they score! Jordan Staal just off the side of the crease, and two quick goals here from Carolina has equalized this hockey game at 2s.
Going back-to-back goals, the Matthews line gets caught.
17 seconds apart, Jimmy.
Again, though, this is another point shot, deflected wide. Carolina is able to retrieve it. And it was Svechnikov, that little backhand dish out to Staal. And now Staal's at the top of the crease. There are 4 Leafs around him, but nobody
has a stick,
can get the puck first or tied up the stick. And Staal is able to tie this game up at 2-2. So all that work, all the momentum the Leafs had early on is now gone, and this crowd is into it. They were booing when it was 2-0 Toronto.
Smith and Necas get assists on the Robinson goal. Staal picks up his 6th goal of the season, and a 2-0 lead has evaporated with 5:40 to play now in the first period. Leafs against the boards, can't get it into the zone. Timmins trying to dig it free. Dewar got it to the red line, but it's launched by Dmitry Orlov into the Toronto zone. Played off the boards and chipped to the line and out by Toronto, but restored by Carolina. Orlov back in his own zone. Burns got it ahead off a stick and down into the Toronto end. Waiting for it to patiently get into the trapezoidal area was Wall, and a pass comes back into the slot area. Orlov a shot, and that rang high, and I think may have gone off the crossbar and gone up into the screen and out of play.
By that time, it was Joseph Wall with the giveaway. Trying to throw it up the boards, force it up the left wing side. It was picked off, and Orlov walks in for the left point.
So 2 goals, 17 seconds apart. Tie the game at 2s. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on the SiriusXM app and talk about all the EPL drama on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Svechnikov and Martinuk get the assist on the Staal goal that has tied the game at 2s. And the face-off is in the Toronto zone to the right of Joseph Wall, and a 2-2 tie. And now the Hurricane player has been waved out of the face-off circle. And Seth Jarvis moves in to take the draw against John Tavares. And the puck won by the Leafs. Ekman Larsson swinging it around the boards. It'll come to the line and out. Nylander couldn't fish it free and is cleared back into the Toronto end. Yeah, a bit of a mishandle there by Ekman Larsson doesn't cost them as it's cleared into the offensive zone. Nylander and McMahon down there looking for a loose puck, and McMahon couldn't find him. And it's played to the line, kicked in then by the Maple Leafs with a shot, blocked the rebound, was punched wide of the goal by McMahon. McMahon going after the puck, centering in front, and didn't reach Tavares as the puck goes in along the far board. Nylander for Tavares, in front for McMahon, and he fired it wide of the goal. Rebound around back of the net, Dmitry Orlov playing it up ahead, and it'll be cleared to the line, but the Leafs keep it in. Bouncing puck to Nylander, now back to Tavares, tried to get it back to the blue line, but the Leafs were in the midst of changing their defense, and so the puck has come back out at center ice. And on the right side, Nylander with a drive, and that went off the blocking glove of Kochkov and went wide. Puck comes back out at center ice and down into the Leafs zone. Wall giving it off to his defense. Tanev plays it up on the wing off Domi, but it doesn't clear. Kept in now by Necas, and Necas into the corner, going around back of the net, looks for a man in front, still has it, sends it towards the goal, deflected wide, kept in, and a shot deflects wide in front of the net of Wall. Back of the net, Martin Necas after it again, and a penalty coming here against Toronto. Back to the blue line, near side, Slavin getting it back to the point again for Burns. Off on the wing, it comes back into the slot, and a shot, and it is deflected up into the screen. As Svechkov got the shot away, and is it Morgan Riley getting the penalty?
Yeah, both officials had their arms up. Morgan Riley talking to one of them that's going to escort him over to the penalty box. And that's, to me, it looked like a one-on-one battle. We'll see if Morgan Riley got the stick blade into the skates. Oh, we may not see the replay on this. Here we got it now.
Leafs penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid, proudly made in Ontario. Available now at your Ontario Honda dealer. And the first period is brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit ConnexOntario.ca. First power play of the game for either team. Hurricanes with it at the point, getting it off on the right wing side, looking in front of the net for Svechkov. Svechkov gets it back to the point. Aho returned from Burns, shot into the chest of Wall, and he's going to stop play and hold on.
And to me, it looked like, looking at that penalty again, Joe, it looked like Necas was just trying to squeeze past Riley along the boards and ended up going down when Riley pinned him, but I didn't see any stick into the skates. I don't think he kicked the feet out from under him either, but the Leafs on a pretty big penalty kill. Carolina power play 0 for 11 in the last 4.
12th overall in the league.
30 for 128 times on the power play.
Minute 37 to go in this penalty. David Camp to take the face-off in the Toronto zone against Sebastian Aho. And the draw won by the Carolina centerman back to Burns. Burns gets it off onto the right wing side. Looking in front of the net, sends it back to Burns. Right wing point, shot taken, stopped, rebound. Going to be grabbed by the Leafs and fed off the boards. And down the ice it will go. 2:40 to play in the period. 1:19 left to go in this power play. 2-2 is the score. Brought on by the Hurricanes in on the wing. Necas gets it back to the point, left wing side now for Svechnikov, couldn't shoot it. Necas with it, working back on the blue line. Works down the left wing board, centering pass, back to Burns, off a stick. Trying to get to it is the Leafs defense, and they do, and it is launched high down to the blue line area of Carolina. Both teams getting some changes in. Puck intercepted by Toronto. This time it's going to go even further, all the way down into the Carolina zone. 42 seconds left to go in the power play. Out come the Hurricanes with a pass ahead. Kotkaniemi in across the line. deflects off the stick of Benoit. Back of the net. Hurricanes are able to punch it around the boards to the point. Trapped over there by Aho. Sent back into the corner. Now it's poked out at center ice. Sean Walker couldn't get there, and it's back into Carolina territory. Walker brings it back up ice. Plays it in on the right side. Ekman Larsson forces the play wide and stands up his man. Puck goes free to David Camp, who now tries to pin it to the boards to eat up more time. Puck is still up against the wall, poke free. It'll come back to the point on the near side. Backhanded again into the corner. Timmins is able to get there, but now can't find any room to get a icing in. The puck still on the near boards. 3 Leafs are there. Riley back onto the ice after the penalty is expired. He's able to get it out into center ice territory.
1 minute remaining in the
1 minute to go in the period. Backhanded in by Jackson Blake. Leafs have it back of the goal. Looking for Nylander. Willie comes through center with a nifty move to gain the line and in. Tried to make a pass off to McMahon, but it hit a skate and now played to the Toronto blue line where Morgan Riley has it. Riley's just going to airmail it to center. Burns will fire it right back in again. Tanev against the board, sends it up ahead, off Willie and onto the stick now. McMahon going wide. McMahon with a shot, and that was steered wide of the net by Kochkov. Puck into the corner, Leafs after it with 23 seconds left to go in the period. In against the boards, fished out now by Chatfield, and the Hurricanes will get it to center ice. Played into the slot area, and a shot pad save made there by Wall as the puck goes around with 8 seconds left into the near corner. Benoit trying to poke it along the boards. It'll come to the point, not out. Last shot coming to the front of the net, knocked away, and that ends the period. An entertaining first period where the Leafs dominated the first 10 minutes, but a 17-second span sees a 2-0 lead evaporate, and it's 2-2 after 20 minutes.
Yeah, 6 minutes left in the period. The Leafs were the dominant team. And then you give up the 2 quick goals enough to kill a penalty, and the momentum quickly went into the favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. But Leafs have to be pretty encouraged of what they saw from all 4 lines in the opening 15, 16 minutes.
So it is a 2-2 tie. We'll step aside. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Dr. Radio! From health and healing to breakthroughs in the lab, a world of expertise with
What's up, insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Leafs and the Hurricanes. Come on, buds. We got to make it 6 straight. Wanted to say thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Please hit that like button down below. We need to get more likes here in these Leaf streams. I'm not going to make it home in time for the game tonight because I got called out for work. I am out in the field. We'll see you guys in the chat. Please don't forget, hit that like and share this link out, and we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only 2 players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the 2nd time, what are we doing here? You miss the 3rd time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under Review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's a 2-2 tie after 20 minutes between the Maple Leafs and the Hurricanes in what was, for 15 minutes, a very strong period by your Maple Leafs until the Hurricanes came to play.
Yeah, you kind of got a pretty good snapshot of what the Hurricanes can do really well in real short order. 2 goals, 17 seconds apart, tying the game after what was a wonderful start for the Maple Leafs. 14 minutes of pretty solid play. But Carolina does what Carolina does, which is pressure, puck retrieval, shots, second chance opportunities. And they scored pretty fast to tie up this game. So the complexion is much different. But certainly it was an encouraging start from Toronto.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like Toronto taking their foot off the gas. I think it was just Carolina snapping back into it and knowing that they can be a dominant team. It took them 17 seconds to get 2 quick ones on the Maple Leafs. So now we're going into a second period tied 2-2. So it's anyone's game at this point. But the Leafs start was really strong. They were hot out of off the first shot, which was almost a goal. And Robertson gets one right away. And I know JD Bunk has tweeted this already, but he calls him scratch and score, it's pretty fitting because he was out of the lineup last game. He's back in and he puts one in the net. And that's kind of his MO. You know, he's in, he's out. And when he gets an opportunity to get back in the lineup, he'll put one in the net. So it was great to get on the board first. Leafs have been getting, I think that first 5 minutes we've kind of seen either they're so not here to play and it's been a bit sleepy. And I think we saw that a lot with the Islanders, who they just played twice, and the Flyers. They were kind of sleepier games. So to come out firing against a team like the Canes was really promising. And then William Nylander gets multiple chances to score, 2 breakaways, and he finally puts one in on the second one, which is a good relief for him because it had been a long time coming.
Yeah, broke an 8-game goalless drought. He had no points in the last 4 games, with a dash in 3 of those 4 games. So it'd been a pretty mediocre, to say the least, stretch for William Nylander, but he looked intent on busting out of that slump. Tonight, definitely the most dangerous player on the ice, at least through the first 15 minutes of that period. 3 chances, finally gets one and can feel better about himself. Clearly after, laboring through this 8-game goalless drought. But yeah, you mentioned it with Robertson. I don't know how much of it was the mentor's trip, but the fact that he got in may be in part due to that because, yeah, you have a mentor with you and your mentee, if that's the proper verbiage, it doesn't see the ice once in the 2-game trip. I think that would be somewhat unfortunate, but Robertson gets in when there was no promise to be in and immediately does the scoring after the scratching, which is an apt nickname. So give Bunkus credit for that.
Sportsnet Stats tweeting that since November 30th, Nick Robertson leads the Maple Leafs in 5-on-5 goals per 60 minutes. I guess when you don't play a lot of 60 minutes and you score when you are in the lineup, math is on your side.
Yeah, stats are a self-serving beast, so you can definitely find ones that help prove your point. But if anyone's been satisfied with the goal scoring of Nick Robertson this year, well, then I'm not sure what you've been watching, but he has been able to provide those responses like he was able tonight to get the Leafs on the board.
Yeah, so let's go back to William Nylander involved, because I think you mentioned it, he hadn't got a goal in 8 games at this point?
Yep.
And pointless in the last couple as well. He looked like he was, I don't want to say disinterested. He looked like he was frustrated, or looked like he was getting fed up maybe with the way things were going. And it was kind of that top line that had controlled the narrative over the last couple of games. They were red hot. They were getting 13 points in one game. It was amazing to watch them. And then he was on that second line, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay, William Nylander. And he had a bunch of games in a row where he was playing with a lot of players that were, maybe lower on the lineup, and he was getting maybe the short end of the stick sometimes, but it looked like it was weighing on him, and his effort was what was the thing I was questioning the most. I don't know if it was just feeling a little bit like, this sucks for me, but after watching him get the 2 breakaway chances and putting them in the net, it was more, I think the attitude changed into like, well, I'm going to play with a little fire instead of letting this bug me. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, the lineup or the line mate's excuse was only an excuse until he started playing with normal top-end players, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't happening. He looked kind of lethargic in those couple games against the Flyers. Definitely not his best efforts, but this is a guy who's been able to respond to coaching, respond to slumps. Basically, he's had that ability to put things behind him. And despite this one lingering, maybe longer than most people expected, he looked like he set a different tone in the start of this game.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll look at the out-of-town scoreboard and get you set for the second period. It's a 2-2 tie after 20 minutes between the Leafs and the Hurricanes. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
Overture sideline reporter, download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
The Subaru winter has arrived. The crisp air and negative temperatures mean one thing: camping. Emerge from your icy tent and bask in 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. Enjoy the unmistakable smell of campfire through the glacial wind pummeling your face. Relax by the water, taking in the soothing sounds of thick ice cracking and popping. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
Get the official NHL app to watch, read, and listen to all the deeks.
All I can say is absolutely wow.
All the sauce. All the saves.
Stop from Vasilevsky.
All the hits. All the snipes. All the sellies.
He scores! Unbelievable!
All the hockey. If it's hockey, it's here. Listen to every NHL game for free, now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Download the official NHL app now.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
He scores! 5-home goal!
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's a 2-2 tie after 20 minutes between the Maple Leafs and the Carolina Hurricanes on the road. It was a pretty great 15 minutes for the Leafs, up 2-0, and then the Canes scored 2 in 17 seconds to shut them down.
Yeah, short enough that the entirety of the goal scoring for the Carolina Hurricanes came on one Maple Leaf shift, that being of the top line. I don't know if you ever took a -2 in one of your shifts.
I definitely took a -2. Justin,
in one shift?
Yeah. You know, because this is it. You step on, you're like, someone's late on the back check, you step on, you get that -2.
That's not terrible.
And then you take the draw, you lose it, they go and they score, then you've been off.
That's not terrible if you've just got on, but like the Matthews unit got actively worked over twice in a row. And that's hard to come back from. Like, again, never done it at the NHL level, but it's difficult when you take 2 goals in succession. You feel like you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole the entire game. We'll see if Matthews, Marner, and the top line can get at least one back, because that's no way to start.
Let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit ConnexOntario.ca.
Busy night in the NHL. Busy window right now. There's 9 games ongoing. The Blue Jackets have a 4-1 lead over the Kraken late in the second period. Sabres have a 4-0 lead over the Senators about midway through the second period. Devils have a 2-1 lead over the Rangers, again, late second period. Penguins up 5-2 on the Edmonton Oilers. Stars have a 3-0 lead over the Flyers. That one is in the second period as well. And the Bruins and Lightning still scoreless about halfway through the game. Just getting underway. Avalanche have a 1-0 lead over the Minnesota Wild, and the St. Louis Blues an early 3-0 lead less than 10 minutes in over the Anaheim Ducks. There's only one more game tonight that has not started already. The Golden Knights will be hosting the Islanders in the nightcap for the NHL tonight.
Sidney Crosby climbed the NHL all-time point list tonight with some points in that 5-2 lead currently over the Oilers. He is now in 9th all-time. He passed Joe Sakic, and he has 1,642 points.
9th all-time, down to single digits.
He's right on the heels of Mario Lemieux.
That's good company. That's even better company. Bragging rights inside the, well, not the childhood home, but for the kid, it was kind of the childhood home when he first wound up in Pittsburgh. I wonder how high he'll get. Mount Rushmore for me, at least in my hockey viewing career.
I think he could pass Lemieux.
I hope he ascends. Can he get top 5? We'll have to look at it. But hopefully Sidney Crosby can continue to do what he's been doing and further the indelible mark he's had on the NHL.
All right, it's a 2-2 tie after 40 as the Leafs on the road to face the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll send it to Jim Ralph and Joe Bowen, who will have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Fuel your football fandom with SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Here are the college football playoff semifinals.
And they're in the end zone.
Every NFL playoff game with the hometown announcers.
Mahomes pump faking right side. Touchdown!
And our lineup of live football talk is unmatched.
Guts and Moxie. This game had it all.
Listen to experts from every perspective on Mad Dog Sports Radio, College Sports Radio, and NFL Radio. Find your game at SiriusXM.com/sports.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate. Weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
Hurricanes are deadlocked at 2 apiece. Leafs dominated the first half of the period. Robertson and Nylander scoring. Nylander missing a breakaway and hitting the goalpost as well. And then in a span of 17 seconds, Hurricanes tie the game.
Now, we're not there yet. You're going to remember this game, December 23rd, 2019. Was a next-gen game. Yes. At Scotiabank Arena. It was an afternoon game right before Christmas. In that game, the Leafs led 3-0 over Carolina. 5 minutes in, James Reimer gets pulled. And then we'll get through the rest of it. But Carolina then with the next 5.
Mm-hmm. And then
Leafs make it 5-4. Then it was 6-4 Carolina. And then 4 goals in the last 8 minutes. The Leafs won it. Boy, Nice took a high stick there, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And it's going to be Burns playing in his 885th consecutive game, going to the penalty box, and the Maple Leafs will go to their first power play opportunity here early in the second period.
Yeah, it's only going to be a 2-minute minor, but maybe the fortunate part of this show is that this seemed to get close
to the eye.
Now this was, I think, Nice was the one that lifts the stick of Burns.
But he's staying out there, so it's obviously not a concern at this point. Interesting that Joe Thornton is in the building. He and Burns, of course, played for so many years together out in San Jose. Puck along the boards. The Leafs power play has been anemic. Would that be a nice word? Here's the Hurricanes in shorthanded. Score!
Well,
never mind being anemic, it's just rotten right now, and it's going to be Stahl getting his second goal.
He had 5 coming in. That's his second shorthanded goal of the season, second goal of the game. And this is with 5 forwards on the ice. Willie Nylander looked like he had intercepted the first attempt, but Stahl got it back and led to the 2-on-1. Headed in with Martinook, and Martinook, little backhand pass past Mitch Marner onto the stick of Stahl, and he snaps it past Joseph Wall. So that's one of the concerns of the 5 forwards, right?
Yep. Well, they're maintaining it. Here's Tavares in across the line. Looks to make a pass, gets it back to the point. Marner walks to the middle of the ice. On the right wing side, a shot one time by Nyes, and that was stopped. It comes around the boards. The Leafs keep the puck in to Willie on the near side. Willie gets it back to the blue line to Marner. Marner shot in traffic, blocked. The rebound, scores! Just like I said, have those 5 guys out there. They're dynamite.
Well, if you want to be even on the power play, sure. But Austin Matthews finds the rebound and ties this up again. We might be getting close to that 2019 game, as it was Matthews that helped lodge the puck free in behind the Carolina net. But I think what you like about this is Mitch Marner simply throws it to the net. Then Austin Matthews, Joe, has to pick it up and then go forehand, backhand around the left pad of Kochkov.
While he's falling down.
Boy, 1:11 into the second period now. We've seen a shorthanded goal and a power play goal.
Okay, well, game on, Newt. Game on. And it's gone out of play as it goes up into the screen. So there'll be a face-off coming here in the Toronto zone as a result. So Austin Matthews gets his 14th goal of the season and his 4th goal on the power play to tie the game.
36 seconds later.
Yeah, pretty close to that. It was 35 seconds for the first goal. So you do the math because you're good at it. And the second goal was scored at 1:11.
Well, first,
that's 25 plus.
Carolina
36.
Goals. Carolina goals were 17 seconds apart.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, but I said that already.
No, you just said the first one was...
No, this was 35 seconds for Stahl's goal and then 1:11 for Matthews.
Now, is that kilometers?
No, but if you put your shoes back on, it's a little odorous in here. Thanks very much. And we have found out that Lenovo makes computers. Got a bunch of people who are watching the game on their Lenovo computer and listening to us. So
guess we ain't doing those commercials.
No. Well, we're certainly not going to get any free product, I doubt. So anyway, here's Benoit moving from right to left on your radio dial. Got it out at center ice. Leafs try to backhand in over the line. They do. Connor Dewar after the puck. Holmberg had gone to the front of the net. Now goes back of the goal to get to the loose puck on the far boards. Trying to fend off his man. Played it in a little deeper. Orlov will play it around on the boards to the near side. And here are the Hurricanes getting it out into the center ice area. Brought through center ice by Jackson Blake and across the line on the right wing side. Off onto the left wing, and a shot goes high and wide of the Leaf goal. Played back by Burns to the point. Gets it again back to the blue line. Long shot deflects wide of the net. Unable to get to it was Blake. Puck comes to the side of the goal and then is wristed high and wide on the far side. The Leafs are going to be able to one-hand it out at center and play it to the red line and then regroup it. And it is Benoit stepping up to the red line now and shooting it in. It bounces off a stanchion and came out in front of an unprotected goal. But no one there to do the damage. A drop pass made nicely there by Marner. Here's Ekman-Larsson centering. And it went right through the blue paint. No one could get a stick on it. It'll come back to center ice. And the Leafs have to stretch things out now as they wait for teammates to get onside. Backhanded again into Carolina territory. Goaltender Kochkov got it along the boards, played up on the wing and brought out at center ice now by the Hurricanes. They get it in across the line, trying to drop it back there with Svechnikov. He lost it. Pass comes ahead. The Leafs get in over the line. Nice dropping for Matthews. Matthews going wide on the backhand centered. No one could get a stick on it. Played back to the point. Long shot by Myers is into the glove of Kochkov, and so he will hold for a face-off coming in the Carolina zone with the game tied 3-3. You know, a couple of games ago, Morgan Rielly scored the overtime winner, and it is his 6th overtime winning goal for a defenseman. And the one who leads him is another guy who couldn't really shoot the puck from the point, and that is Thomas Kaberle.
Yeah. Take a few more players off the ice, create a little more room.
Yeah. Kaberle had 7 of his 83 goals were scored in overtime. Rielly, 6 of 85. Here's the Leafs with the puck now and a shot, and that's just off the mark wide. Trapped by Rielly at the left point. Speaking of Morgan Rielly, he's able to keep it in again. No, apparently not. Linesman said it was offside. But you talk about Thomas Kaberle. Can you think of another player that was taken late in the draft that worked out to be such an all-star? And Kaberle was an 8th round pick, 204th that year. And Pat Quinn found a jewel, he said, and he and Brian McCabe became a tandem for a long time.
I remember the Leafs had training camp in Hamilton that year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
and
that's
Thomas
absolutely
Kaberle
right.
was the story coming out of training camp.
Yep.
But when you talk about later picks, Sebastian Aho for Carolina was drafted 35th overall in the 2015 draft. He is 4th in points from that draft class, only behind McDavid, Marner, and Rantanen. So that's a pretty good second-round pick, isn't it?
I would suggest it is. Leafs at center ice, fired in by Robertson. Down the far boards, bouncing puck comes to the line. Chipped out by Necas and shot down into the Toronto end. Bouncing puck into the near corner, trying to work out of the corner is Smith. He gets it back to the point. Pass was intercepted. Domi can't get to it. Now Benoit chasing after his man in the far corner. It is Kotkaniemi losing it, and it comes out into the center ice area. Played ahead by Walker and down into the Leaf end. Snapped back out at center. That misses everyone and goes for icing. And play whistled dead. And speaking of draft picks that have blossomed. Matthew Nyes was a second-round, 57th overall pick in 2021. And the first pick that the Leafs were able to make that year. And not a bad selection.
No, and we were saying it's amazing how you look at somebody like, say, Shane Wright in Seattle, how there just are no guarantees.
No.
He was supposed to be first overall for the longest time.
Shot blocked. Kept in with a wrist shot that went wide of the net off the stick of Slavin. Now played high to center ice. Yaksa couldn't get to it. And it is down into the Carolina zone. Hurricanes breaking out. 3-3 is our score. And across the line on the right wing side, trying to drive the net. A shot, scores! Jackson Blake cutting in off the right wing. And this has turned into a who touches the puck last.
Blake's 9th of the season. And for Joseph Wall, this is one you're going to want. Right wing circle, and this just goes 5-hole. Carolina, great coming out of their own zone. Maybe from a Leaf standpoint, you're not happy with how easy they were able to get through the middle of the ice. If I'm not mistaken, the big line is on again.
Yes, they are. Well, other than the power play, they've been on for 3.
Well, I mean, they gave up the shorthanded goal,
and the shorthanded goal, too. Matthews unable to get in over the line. Played into the Toronto zone by Svechnikov. Back of the goal wall to get it into the corner. Played up for Nyes, but he couldn't trap it. Burns with a shot from the point. Went high and wide. Now Myers gets it out at center ice. Leafs across the line, but Nyes had it roll off his stick. Carolina back at center. In across the line. Right wing side for Jordan Staal. And crashing into the net is one of the Hurricanes, and it was Martinuk. And I don't see an arm up in the air. I don't think there's a penalty call. We'll wait and see.
What you love from TV producers when goaltender gives up a few goals.
First thing you do?
Show the backup goalie sitting. And leaving Carolina, it's still a backup goaltender has to sit in the corner by himself, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A few places like that. I think San Jose, Montreal, still like that. But the shots, 29 shots in the game, 7 goals. So that's not going to do a lot for either goaltender save percentage.
9th goal of the season for Blake. And the Hurricanes have regained the lead that they built here earlier in the period. Draw to the right of Wall. Knocked into the corner. Tavares got it ahead. Nylander got it ahead for McMahon, who got lifted off his skates. Nylander racing after it. Centering for Tavares. Comes back to the point. And now grabbed off by Roslovic, who gets it up on the right side. A drop pass into the slot and a drive. And that was deflected wide of the goal. Aho couldn't get it out in front of the net. Riley. Long pass to center that Nylander couldn't track down. Loose puck in the Carolina zone. Fed ahead by Orlov. Up on the right side. Roslovic in with a shot. That was high and wide of the Leaf goal. Played into the corner. A delayed penalty call coming against Toronto here. And on the far boards now. Here's Carolina left wing side. Pass deflects and goes into the crowd. And an interference penalty is coming here against the Maple Leafs.
Second power play of the game coming up for Carolina.
So we will step aside. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Visit ConnexOntario.ca.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose Premium.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Wait, where's the webcam button? There it is. Hey, what's up, Leafs fans? Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight here on TSI. We are going after that plaque right there. We're going after 100,000 insiders / subscribers. Thank you so much for being here with us, chatting it up, cheering on our Maple Leafs every single game of the season and the playoffs. Now let's get back to the hockey. Welcome to the new insiders. Cheers. And don't forget, turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live. We go live a lot of other sports as well. We'll see you back in the chat.
Bobby McMahon is getting the penalty.
That can't be the... No, that might be it, the one we saw at the blue line, and that looked like it was just...
That looked like interference too, didn't it? But McMahon's getting the penalty. And the penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealer. Get home ice advantage on every drive with new Civic Hybrid, proudly made in Ontario. Available now at your Ontario Honda dealer. Played to the blue line, onto the right wing side. Nate Cass with a shot. That went wide of the net. Far side for Sebastian Aho. Played down into the corner. Leafs trying to pry it along the boards, but can't. And now it is pinned there and finally dug out, but now the Leafs get it back again behind the net. Grabbed off by Benoit. He gets a look down ice and quickly sends it out and down. Minute and a half left to go in the power play. Burns starting out of his own zone. Gets it up on the right side. Nate Cash getting in with a pass to the far side. And that was knocked away as Wall went across. Comes back into the slot. Martinook got it into the corner. Played back to the blue line by Aho. Aho gets it again in the corner, looking in front of the net. Can't find anybody. Back to Burns. Burns to Aho again. A one-touch pass in front is intercepted. Rattled off the boards then by Myers, but not past the skate of Aho. Keeps it in. Natchash now blending it back to the point. Burns walks the line. Gets it back. Natchash works in with a pass that's deflected in front of the goal. Leafs can't get to it cleanly. Down into the corner for Nyes, but he couldn't come up with it. Around the boards to the near side. Pinching down is the defense to keep it in, but the Leafs get their stick on it, but don't get it out immediately, but now it does trickle into the neutral zone with 33 seconds left in the power play. Natchash to the left wing side, into the slot area. Wrist shot coming, and it's high and wide of the goal. Trapped on the near side. Martin Natchash trying to get it off on the wing. Down into the corner it comes. Blockered away by Wall. Almost lost his goal stick, and the Leafs are going to get a hold of it and send it down the ice. Carolina 4, the Leafs 3. And a wild one going on in Carolina. Played in on the wing, bouncing puck. Power play about to expire, and now does. Slapped into the zone by Jack Drury. Comes back to the point, into the slot again. Intercepted, and the Leafs are breaking out. But it's a 2-on-2 rush. Matthews in across the line with Marner. Marner stops up, but is double-teamed on the boards. Trying to work along the wall. Got the puck freed up. Cleared high in the air. And it's going to come out at center ice. And now here's Carolina in on the right side. Walker tried to get in along the boards, but couldn't get past Benoit. Riley plays it, but it's trapped. Chatfield at the point, a shot that went wide. Tavares can't get to it. Another drive from the blue line, covered up by Wall and held with 10:49 left to play in the second period. And the Maple Leafs trailing in the game by a score of 4-3.
It's like Carolina smells blood now, right? They're throwing everything they can from every angle at Joseph Wall, who makes a huge right pad save of Sebastian Aho to keep this a 1-goal lead for Carolina. And the Leafs have got to bail him out at the other end of the ice with another goal. It's top line for the Leafs. The Matthews line on for all 4 goals against so far in this game.
At the blue line, Chatfield with a shot in traffic that was blocked. Connor Timmins playing it along the boards. Nyes gets it out. Tavares skating through center. Works to the right wing side, but had it knocked off his stick. And then the puck comes back down into the Toronto zone. Leafs have to play it as a 2-on-1 because there weren't numbers back, and a centering pass went astray as it comes back to the blue line. Kept in by Carolina around back of the net. Played in along the boards and back of the goal. Stahl sends it back to the point. Holding in a wrist shot taken there by Orlov is high off a stick and into the screen. And that will stop play with 10:13 to play in the second period. And a faceoff coming in the Toronto zone as a result.
Carolina comes into this game with just 4 wins in their last 10. But 7 of those games were on the road. They were 2-4-1 on the road during that stretch, 2-1 at home.
Jordan Martin deflecting that. Sorry, Jim.
I can't imagine either coach being too thrilled with what they've seen from the defensive side of things for either team.
And the Leafs break out at center with Domi. Works to the right wing side. Drop pass for Robertson. Back into the corner for Domi, but he's double teamed. It comes back to the point. They'll come over on the near side for Morgan Rielly. Oh, and a nice deflection in front of the goal there by Lorenz. But a good pad save made by Kochkov. Back into the slot area and brought out now by Nakash. He'll play it up on the right side. That's a delayed offside that's going to be whistled down. Kotkaniemi trapped inside the zone when the puck got partially deflected. And so it'll come back. The face-off coming. Oh, we've gone to black. I don't know. Oh, we're going to commercial? Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Everybody that be living it up, we said.
Yo, what's up? It's Sirius XM Fly. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm over on channel 50 playing those 90s.
What's my name? Let's flip the track, bring the old school back.
And 2000s hip-hop and R&B throwbacks. Commercial free, 24/7. Pull up, channel 50, and at home with Sirius XM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected.
What's up, insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us. The third period coming up. Oh my goodness, I'm watching the Leafs game here on the iPad. Oh my goodness, what a game the Hurricanes just scored to make it 4-3. Come on, Leafs fans, we need you in the chat, getting loud while I'm over here trying to figure out what's going on in the college football game while we've got everything running here at the Hub. Oh yeah, lots of fun. Hope I don't get in trouble for showing that TV screen. We'll see you guys back in the chat. The camera's over there, Mike. Go Leafs, go. Big third period. Get loud, Leafs fans. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go.
Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Network.
Game really hasn't reflected what the Leafs have done over their first half. Some of the improvements from goals against from 3.2 to 2.8. Penalty kill better, 82% to 77 a year ago. Save percentage, 915 at this point, 902 a year ago. And blown lead losses. The Leafs have blown 3 times a lead, and they've blown a lead in this game.
Yeah, have not blown a 2-goal lead this year, though.
But 12 times in the first half of last year, they've blown a lead. Here's shot taken by Nylander that was blocked. Burns chases it back as it comes to the point to Rielly. Back around back of the net for Tavares. Tavares is knocked down. That could have been a tripping call, but wasn't called. Hachash got it up on the boards. Leafs trying to keep it in with a host of players right at the blue line there, and it finally pokes its way to center. Morgan Rielly steps back in with a flip into the near corner. Bobby McMahon couldn't come up with it. Leafs are trying to get their defense exchange, and it's out at center ice, and now played back out at center for Tavares. He needs a change as well. He'll flip in, and the Leafs will go to the bench. 8:45 to play here in period number 2. Leafs trailing 4-3. Long shoot-in is stopped there by Wall. Puck is quickly played out at center. Off Pontus Holmberg, but couldn't control it. And following up on the play was David Camp. He goes to the boards, but Dewar couldn't help him out. Back come the Hurricanes and across the line. Drop for Blake, trying to work to the far side. A shot blocked. Comes back to the blue line. Another shot taken. That's blocked. Off from the wing, a shot stopped by Wall. Back around back of the net. Trying to come out with it is Sean Walker. Walker gets it back to the blue line. Looking to the near side. Long shot blocked in front of the net. Still three. Another shot goes over top of the Leaf goal. And the Hurricanes are getting all kinds of chances here as the Leafs finally launch it high out and down the ice. It's going to roll in over the goal line, but no icing call. Leafs down on the far side with a shot that was blocked. The rebound came out, but no return shot. Then from the point, that was stopped by Kochkov. And now the Leafs go back into the neutral zone. Nyes and across the line, dropping for Marner. Marner closes, and the shot for the far corner went high and wide. Leafs trying to keep it in, and Matthews.
There's going to be a slashing penalty.
Matthews took the puck away from the Carolina player and came down on his stick with his stick, and the stick broke. Oh, I don't know. It's not like he slashed the player.
No, we're gonna watch again. It's just sort of a slash, a stick on stick, but it's not.
That's
it
just
forces
bad
a turnover, and it's more bad luck than anything else.
Third power play opportunity here for Carolina. Draw won by Toronto, but they don't get it out. Punch back into the corner to the side of the net. Tanev got it up on the wing, pokes it ahead. David Camp misfires on it, and then it's played inadvertently by the Hurricanes out into the center ice area. 7:06 to play. Played to the line, brought in over on the right side by Sebastian Aho. Played back to the point, Burns to Aho. Aho in the circle, and the shot rang wide of the net over there on the far side by Seth Jarvis. Now an errant pass has come to center ice. Hurricanes have to go back for it. Veteran Brett Burns, the Barrie native, sending it down into the zone. Down the boards, puck comes back to the point, held in by Burns. Burns to the left wing side. Carolina holding there on the far side. Back it comes to Burns. One-timer coming and completely fanning on it there was Nachas, I believe it was. Back to Aho. Aho down into the corner. Gets it back on the near half board to Burns. On the far side, top of the circle. Down low, a pass in front for Aho. Good save made by Wall as he comes across and takes it on the chest and will hold for a face-off in the Toronto zone.
After giving up the fourth one that Wall probably should have had, he's made a couple of excellent stops to keep the bleeding from getting the best of the Leafs here in the second period. 6:10 to go, 4-3 Carolina. And you would certainly hope in this game that the penalties are going to even out. The only power play that the Leafs had was on a high stick that came up and clipped Matthew Nyes.
And it ended up costing them a goal because they scored shorthanded before they ended up equalizing on the power play. It was 2-2 at the end of one. It's 4-3 Carolina now. 5:55 to go in the period. Drop pass by Roslovic into the slot area, and a shot goes off a stick and now up into the screen in behind Joseph Wall and out of play.
First time these two teams have met this season. Who we got left now? Vancouver. It'll be the first time on Saturday.
We have not seen San Jose, I don't believe.
San Jose Sharks are the other. I'm trying to think anybody else in the East.
Oh, we're going to see Carolina and Vancouver a lot in the next little while.
Funny, this has really been a bizarre schedule this year. Don't see anybody, and then like with the Islanders in Philadelphia, you see them back to back.
Marner gets the puck out into the center ice area. 5:39 left to play. 17 seconds in the penalty. Around back of the Toronto goal, Benoit runs into traffic there, but got the puck on the boards. Marner got it out in front of the net. Camp had a chance to turn and ice the puck, but instead played it down into his own corner. Kept alive here by Carolina. At the point to the near side, trying to backhand in front of the net was Blake. That was knocked away as it comes to the blue line. Penalty is over, but the Leafs are under siege here. And now David Camp does get it out at center. I realize that he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, but he had all kinds of time to clear that, and then decided to stay inside. Now here's a centering pass, comes to the side of the goal. Wall has to go down and cover up on it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. He didn't know if somebody was bearing down on top of him, so instead of trying to guess that I'm going to turn to play it out and somebody steamrolls you, let's get it back to somebody in the corner.
Game is so much easier if you have eyes in the back of your head.
I wouldn't know. Well, no, if I did, I just would have seen a lot of bad stuff sooner.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking news coming in from Bet36365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Ah, at last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin peeking out of your ski mask. Put on your beach puffer and hear the sound of the waves crashing over the chatter of your teeth. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Left wing side, Riley with a wrist shot.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Carolina 4, the Maple Leafs 3. 4:56 left to go in the second period. Draw on the Toronto zone to the left of Joseph Woll. Hurricane numbers on their sleeves are very difficult to see, so our apologies if we're misidentifying some folks here off our monitor. Played along the boards and into the slot. A shot. Good save by Wall. Puck in the far corner. Ekman-Larsson ties his man up. Nylander couldn't get it out. Back to the point. Chatfield drops it off. Orlov doesn't shoot it. Sends it off on the far wing. Pass down into the corner. Chatfield trying to center. Deflected by Robertson right of the goal. The puck is back of the Toronto net. Ekman-Larsson pounds into his man on the boards a couple of times. The puck comes free. Nylander can't get it out. Still free on the far side. Domi trying to pry it out. It's pinned up there with Timmins. Getting an elbow from Orlov for his time. And now Ekman-Larsson ties his man up. And the battle goes on along the wall. Now back of the Toronto net. Still free. Here's a pass off on the far side. Taken there. Yaksa couldn't get to it. It bounces in front of the net. And then it was knocked wide of the Leaf goal. A wrap around attempt. Wall getting over to pin that puck with that left pad. And it is waved off by the official. As there'll be a face-off coming in the Toronto zone. The referees are Brandon Schrader and Francois Salaron, who's taken over for Chris Rooney, who was initially scheduled to be the official here. C.J. Murray and Shandor Alfonso, former Sudbury Wolf Jr., is the linesman.
It really jumps out at you. Boy, now they're going to review to see if it was a goal. I thought Wall got pitchforked into the net. Well, I'm not sure.
That replay wasn't it.
Replay we just saw is nothing to do with the goal. It had to be the wraparound, but was Wall not forced into the net, sort of on a pitchwork into the pad? I don't know what they're showing on the scoreboard.
But we haven't seen anything yet on our replay. Oh, now we're going to get a chance for it. Wall across. There's puck.
No, you don't see it from the overhead.
You don't see the puck from the overhead, but he's certainly getting slashed and pushed into the net.
Referee was right there and waved it off. No.
Thank you.
It really jumps out right now, though, Joe, is Matthews, Marner, and Nyes a combined -11 on the night. Nick Robertson was actually out for one of the goals against with Matthews and Marner.
Around back of the net, far side. Leafs get it freed up for Tanev. Back of the net for Riley. Off the glass to play it to Tavares. His backhand ahead, looking for Nylander. Didn't connect. Brought back in over the line by Carolina. They'll play it down into the corner. Around on the near side. Roslovic plays it back in along the boards. Carolina working it back to the blue line. Swept in by Slavin. Around back of the net. Roslovic can't get to it cleanly. Now puck comes free. Leafs get it up off the wing, but McMahon couldn't get it out, and a shot in traffic is stopped by Wall. Good pressure here again from Carolina. They've had 24 shots. The Leafs have had 18. Played up on the wing. Again, McMahon can't get it out. Centering pass, and it went right by everyone, and this time Bobby McMahon gets it to center ice. McMahon now backhanding in over the line, and will head to the bench for a change of players as it's cleared off a stick into the crowd to stop play with 2:44 left to go here in the period.
The Leafs have really had trouble with the forecheck of the Carolina Hurricanes, and the defensemen have been very active coming down the boards. We saw Brent Burns was the latest to come in. Bobby McMahon thinks he's got a little bit of time and space, but down comes Burns roaring down the right wing side to chip it in.
Played back down into the Toronto zone. Marner up against the boards. Got it freed up for Matthews. Outlet now for the defense, and it is Myers skating to center and backhanding it into the Carolina zone. Chatfield gone around back of the net after it. It comes back around the boards to the near side. And now here are the Hurricanes banking it to the Toronto blue line, but Stahl couldn't come out with it. Joseph Wall into the corner. Off the boards for Timmins. Bank pass to center ice. Tripped. Yes, indeed. Tripped indeed. And so a power play for the Maple Leafs, which has been really good and really bad, all in one power play.
Yep, they're even. Gave up the shorthanded goal, then responded with a power play goal from Austin Matthews after that. 1 for 7 in the 3 games coming in, although the Matthews goal in Philadelphia was, 2 seconds after the power play had expired, and John Tavares did score in the power play earlier in that period as well. But Chatfield is going to go as Matthew Nyes gets taken out. Hunter Timmins was taken down as well.
Are you only allowed to call one penalty on a single player?
I don't think that's a rule.
No. Go out to the right. Leafs with a chance to tie the game with the power play. Marner off the face-off win to Tavares on the right side. Willie closes! And that was kicked aside by Kochkov. Back to the point to Marner. Left wing side for Matthews. 5 forwards out for Toronto. Far side for Nylander. Nylander holds. Back it goes to Marner. His shot. That deflected wide. Nyes was all over the goaltender in front of the net. Back it comes to Marner. Slot shot. That's high and wide. Down is the goaltender Kochkov, and he is able to cover up on it. But the Leafs getting pucks towards and at the net.
Well, before this power play, the Leafs only had 5 shots on goal in the second period. You like this. Even, again, you don't have the big blast from the point, but you've got Mitch Marner, gets the puck at the blue line and takes 3 strides towards the net to let it go. And John Tavares very nearly knifes the rebound past Kochkov.
Leafs win the face-off again. Far side Nylander down into the corner for Nyes. Round the boards it'll come to Matthews. He stretches things out. Back to the point. Marner walks the line. Back into the slot area. Tavares spinning. Looking for Nyes in front of the net but couldn't find him. And it's backhanded now out and down the ice by Carolina. Leafs go back and Marner takes it quickly and brings it right back. On the wing for Matthews to Tavares. Back in for Matthews. Stolen by the Hurricanes. Shot out and down the ice with 58 seconds left to go in the power play. Marner will go back to it. The Leafs staying out there with the same 5. Brought on to center. Looks for a drop pass. Still has it. Now drops. Nylander mishandled it and circles back. Now Willie starting up with it with speed through the neutral zone. Hits the line and in on the right side for Bobby McMahon. One of the players exchange. Tavares against the boards. Couldn't keep it in. Comes to center ice. Marner, the lone man back. Sebastian Aho tried to play it off on the wing, and that didn't work, and the Leafs are rebounding. Out ahead for Nylander with Tavares. In on the slot and couldn't get it to Tavares cleanly. Cleared back out at center, and here we go again. On the right wing side, Jarvis in with a shot, and that was knocked away and cleared back down, and the Leafs are mercifully going to get a defenseman on. I don't know if my heart can take that on a regular basis. I really don't.
Craig Berube, they give up the shorthanded goal in the first period, and he says, no,
we're going right back. Hey, God bless him for the confidence as the horn goes to end a wild and woolly second period that started 2-2. Saw the Carolina Hurricanes score a shorthanded goal. Then the Leafs tie it on the subsequent power play. And then Blake scoring to give them the lead at 4:58. So it is a 4-3 Carolina lead after 2 periods of play.
I think maybe both goaltenders, Joe, after the fourth Carolina goal, came up with some of their better stops. Joseph Woll keeping the Leafs in it. Fourth one was a bad one to give up. 5-hole off the wing. But then comes up with 2 or 3 outstanding stops, including some when the Leafs are on the penalty kill. To keep this a 1-goal game, and Kochkov not tested. Only 5 shots before that Leaf power play at the end of the period. Stops all 3, and including a pretty big one off John Tavares.
9-8, Carolina outshoots the Leafs in the second period. We'll step aside. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming along with our intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
This week on Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, Peter King, and me, Jim Gray.
What's up, hockey fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Maple Leafs game. Now's the time in the show to find out where Leafs Nation is gathering from here on TSI, listening to the Leafs game, watching on TV, watching wherever you are, watching on YouTube, chatting it up, cheering our boys on. Let's go, Maple Leafs. Let's get the win tonight. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for letting us know where you're watching from, whether it's the United States, Canada, or all over the world. It's so much fun hanging out with you guys every single Maple Leafs game. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
No excuses.
Under Review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with...
What's up, insiders? Thanks for hanging out with us. The third period coming up. Oh my goodness, I'm watching the Leafs game here on the iPad. Oh my goodness, what a game the Hurricanes just scored to make it 4-3. Come on, Leafs fans, we need you in the chat, getting loud while I'm over here trying to figure out what's going on in the college football game while we've got everything running here at the hub. Oh yeah, lots of fun. Hope I don't get in trouble for showing that TV screen. We'll see you guys back in the chat. The camera's over there, Mike. Go Leafs, go. Big third period. Get loud, Leafs fans. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go. Go Leafs, go.
And suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only 2 players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names
games are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. A 4-3 lead for the Carolina Hurricanes after 40 minutes, and that was a roller coaster. Hold on tight because we got lots to go through.
Yeah, but it was like the part of the roller coaster where it was mostly
screaming?
Going straight down. Yeah, screaming, hands in the air. You're not really enjoying it all that much on the way down. Yeah, that was really, really lopsided. Carolina, as we all understand, can do that. They can tilt the ice on just about any team. But yeah, the Maple Leafs didn't really have an answer in that period. And frankly, you look at the score and it's like, well, that's fortunate for the Maple Leafs. That 2-0 lead definitely helped them just hold on in this game because, yeah, it feels a lot like 4-1 since about the 5-minute mark, which is exactly what it is. Not a great period for the Maple Leafs. Carolina definitely took control.
Yeah, started early with a big shorthanded goal for Stahl early on in the second period there, and that made it -3 for all the big boys. It was a 5-man power play, which I know Jim Ralph doesn't like. I'm not really a fan of it either. It just didn't. I think they were just lacking effort, honestly. I don't think they needed a defenseman back there, but it was a glaring, all 5 of those players are forwards and they are defending what was kind of just like a 2-on-1 with not a lot of effort, and the puck goes in the net. It just was a bad look, and when those things happen, then you can sound good about your take of not really liking a 5-man power play of all forwards, but that was a pretty brutal start to the second period.
Yeah, I'm not sure that in good conscience they could roll with a 5-forward power play in the playoffs. I mean, what have we seen the last couple of years? The margins being unbelievably thin, all these 1-goal games, 1-score games. If you make a mistake, really, the first one to make a critical mistake is going to lose the game. Excuse me. So if you're putting out 5 forwards, you're just inviting trouble. And if you're utilizing it now, but don't plan on doing it later, then what's the point? Like, you should be practicing good habits, practicing how it's going to look like when the most important moments arrive. And I feel like this is a waste of time because I really, frankly, don't think Craig Berube will do this in the playoffs. So we keep asking the question, why? Why 5 forwards? Is it because the power play just has failed to this point on the season? They don't have that power play quarterback. I guess you could say the answer is yes to both of those things. But if you're going to get Riley going or Ekman Larson going,
they gotta do
and
it.
You're going to feel good defending 2-on-1s when the opposing team gets one in a big spot, well, they need to be out there. So I don't know. It just feels like a waste of time for me. I wish they would just make the right decision here.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is all practice for when it really matters, and you can be experimental. Like, it's worth a try, but this try and this failure has been kind of consistent throughout the regular season. So unless you have some big grand revelation over the next couple efforts of 5-man power plays of all forwards, I think you're right. Like, at some point we shift into let's get ready for the playoffs mode. And I think that is trying to find some offense from the back end, which we just saw this past weekend. It's funny. We had both games on 590 and the dialogue going into the Friday night, the Saturday night was that the defenseman hadn't scored in 16 games. And then by the time we were back here on Monday, they had 3 goals in 2 games. So maybe it was a good time to capitalize on them feeling themselves. But once again, they're not in the power play. But in all this, the same penalty kill or same power play that the Carolina Hurricanes scored on the PK, Matthews gets one back right away. So it's like, oh, everything we just said, shut up about it, because he puts the puck in the net on a really great individual effort in front of the net. And you could see like he double fist pumped when, and he likes a good celly, but he did like a double celly. I think it was like, oops, I was on the ice for that last goal. And,
I've been on the ice for 3 goals so far.
Yeah, and I'm having not the greatest game, so I'm going to get myself back into it. But it was a really nice effort by Matthews to put it in on the power play. So maybe 5 forwards does work.
Again, like it's tough because the play is generated off a point shot. That point shot was taken by a forward. Do I think it was more effective because it came off the stick of Mitch? No, I don't. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like it's a strategy thing and that Oliver Ekman-Larsson and or Morgan Riley can accomplish that. But you're right. It seemed like they knew they were -3 at that point, that they made a huge mistake just earlier in the power play, and getting that back in that moment was very, very important. But it didn't really change the complexion of the second period. Eventually, the Carolina Hurricanes did take the lead back on a Jackson Blake goal, the son of Jason Blake.
I should have known that. I would have bet that.
Yeah, we got 2 more tries against Carolina the rest of the year, but maybe that was the one time it was going to happen. Good rookie season for him, his 9th goal already for a fairly unheralded draft pick. But that was probably ball don't lie. Carolina deserved to have the lead going into the second intermission because they were frankly the better team in the second and have been throughout the balance of this game. But yeah, Matthews, Marner, Nyes, a lot of dashes so far in this game, and there's still room to get it back and still a game in hand despite it feeling very lopsided at this point.
Yeah, -11 combined, Matthews, Marner, and Nyes. So it's not been a great look, but hey, the pucks are going in the net. It's 4-3 after 40 minutes. I feel like this is a sloppy one. We might have like a 7-6 game in the end, which is fun. The over is always fun. And you mentioned the Jackson Blake. I said this to you, but my former teammate, Sean Walker, the York Simcoe Express AAA, we both grew up Keswick and Sutton. Shout out to Georgina. Whenever he plays Leafs, I always put like $5 on a goal. He's only got 2 goals this season, so he's a defenseman.
Nothing yet. No points yet.
You know what? He's still got an opportunity tonight. So I have a rooted interest in him playing well.
Honestly, the Maple Leafs have opened the door for just about anyone on the opposition.
And you know what? He might get one. York Simcoe Express. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back to get you set for the third period and take a look at the NHL scoreboard from the out-of-town games. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHLShop.ca, the official online store of the National Hockey League, and Canada's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear, with unique one-of-a-kind designs by Fanatics, and all the latest styles for every NHL team. Don't miss out. Shop now and get today's special offer. NHLShop.ca, a Fanatics experience.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
Over to our sideline reporter now with that. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses, with customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Ah, at last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin peeking out of your ski mask. Put on your beach puffer and hear the sound of the waves crashing over the chatter of your teeth. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. A 4-3 lead for the Hurricanes over the Maple Leafs after 40 minutes. Let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca.
Yeah, it's a busy night in the NHL, busy night in sports. 10 games in the NHL, 9 ongoing. The Blue Jackets have a 5-2 lead late over the Kraken. Sabres leading the Senators 4-0, also late in that game. It's 2-2 Devils and Rangers. Penguins have a 5-3 lead late over the Edmonton Oilers. The Stars up 3-1 over the Flyers. Lightning 2-1 over the Bruins. That's midway through the third period. The Avalanche have a 3-1 lead over the Wild, reaching the end of the second period. And the Blues have a 6-1 lead over the Anaheim Ducks. Still to come tonight, the Islanders will visit the Vegas Golden Knights.
All right. Leafs trail 4-3 after 40 minutes after kind of a crazy second period. We'll see what is in store for the third. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Indulge in a channel full of soft pop nostalgia.
High-rise jeans, oversized blazers. That was my go-to.
With a special guest host who knows a little something about the late 80s and early 90s.
Hi, I'm Lori Loughlin. You may know me as Aunt Becky. My whole commute to work over at Full House, I would listen to this song.
Mom Jeans. Listen now for a limited time on Channel 17 and available year-round as one of over 200 extra channels on the SiriusXM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really start?
Cheers, insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us again for another Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. We play the Flyers again. 2 games against the Islanders, 2 games against the Flyers. We're 3 out of 3. Let's go get it. Just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us, cheering on our Leafs every single game here on TSI and making a difference in our community with SickKids. I've got a lot of work to do to get ready for the college football playoff games and the NFL playoff games coming up over the next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing out that campaign link when the football games are on. And we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
Is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs trail the Carolina Hurricanes by a 4-3 count after 2 periods of play. In a game that has seesawed back and forth, Robertson and Nylander opening the scoring, and it could have been much worse because Nylander was stopped on a breakaway and hit the goal post before he scored his 24th of the year. But then in a 17-second span, Robinson and Stahl scored for Carolina. Then the Leafs went to the power play with the game tied. Oopsies. Shorthanded goal by Stahl. Subsequent power play goal by Matthews to tie the game. But Blake has scored at 4:58 of the second period. As the puck is dropped for the start of the third, Leafs to the left and the Hurricanes to the right, but the Leafs trail by 1.
Carolina this year 17-0-2 and taking a lead into the third.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Working into the corner was Ty Smith. Centering pass comes back to the point. There's a shot. Scores from well out. Joseph Woll doesn't see it. I don't think it was redirected. And it is 5-3 Carolina. And is it Burns who gets the goal? I believe it is.
No, it looks like Svechnikov might be the first one to the bench, was it not? Burns let it go. Joseph Woll did not react at all.
Yeah, I think it's Burns. He was just a little tardy in getting to the bench, that's all. We'll wait to see the replay here.
But boy, Matthews' line again. Oh, this goes off a skate in front. I think it is. Well, it went off Burns' skate. Or whose skate does it? No.
Either Stahl or Matthews. One or the other in front of the net. So we'll wait for the official announcement. It looks like it might be Stahl getting his second or third goal game. And the Hats are coming onto the ice. Yep. So what initially looked like a very bad goal as far as Joseph Woll is concerned is really an unfortunate break. And the veteran Jordan Stahl has the hat trick.
And I do believe that Jordan Stahl's first NHL hat trick came as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins in Toronto on a Saturday night. Yeah, this is just fortunate. There he does turn. He does get a piece of it, redirects it.
Yeah, with the stick. Yeah, it wasn't off the skate.
I think it goes through the pads of Joseph Woll. But man, now the Matthews-Marner combination.
But on the ice.
-10. I believe Nyes was still on the ice. Puts him at -4.
Wow.
That is a tough night, isn't it?
Tough night in the plus-minus. Yes, it is.
And we're on for a goal, but that was a power play goal. So they get a minus for the shorthanded goal against that they gave up.
But you don't get a plus for the power play goal.
Which seems fair. I think you give up a shorthanded goal, you better wear the minus.
So the Leafs have got a hill to climb now. Down a pair. As it's played into the center ice area, then Leafs get it back. Nylander across the line, couldn't control the puck. Ekman-Larsson loses it. Played back to the blue line. Ekman-Larsson chipping it out at center before it's shot back in. Ekman-Larsson now with a long lead pass that is knocked away there by Jacob Slavin. He'll get it up in the wing. That looked like it was offside, but it comes back out at center ice anyway. And Nylander, a pass off on the wing for Tavares. Tavares into the slot for McMahon, and the shot blocked. The rebound was punched out in front by McMahon, but easily covered up by Kochkov and held for a face-off.
Let's see what the resolve of the Leafs is here. And you go back, the first 12, 13 minutes, Joe, might have been their best start of the season.
Yeah.
They came out and absolutely dominated Carolina. Give up a goal on a rebound after a point shot. And seconds later, give up the tying goal. And then it's really been all Carolina.
Face off in the Carolina zone to the left. Domi wins it cleanly. Riley on the right wing with a shot. Block rebound! The goaltender was knocked down in the goal crease, and how Robertson didn't manage to tuck that home is beyond me. Robertson getting it out at center and playing it out into the neutral zone. Down into the Carolina end it goes. Hustling in there was Lorenz. Puck comes back up on the wing, and it's going to be punched out onto the right wing side. Carolina working in over the line. Dropping it off there was Nakash. It goes into the corner. Shot from a sharp angle. Stopped by Wall. Back to the point for Orlov. Orlov to Burns. Burns with a wrist shot. Blockered away nicely by Wall. Into the corner. Orlov now for the Hurricanes. Round on the far side. Dropped back then by Chatfield. He'll play it into the near corner. Orlov got it back to the point. Kept alive by Kotkaniemi, a centering pass, blocked, rebound, backhanded wide of the net. Riley intercepts a pass and gets it ahead, and Lorenz trying to get it out, got it as far as the blue line, and then Domi got it the rest of the way.
Where do they pinch a lot, don't they?
Yes, Carolina? They do. Yep. Dmitry Orlov getting it up on the left wing side. And it's played down into the Toronto end. Played into the slot area, and a shot went wide of the goal for the Hurricanes. Kept in at the blue line by Ty Smith. Off onto the right wing side, back to Smith. Shot coming, swallowed up by Wall, and held for a face-off as the puck will go down, and the face-off in the Toronto zone. I'm playing a lot like Marty Feldman today. You remember Marty?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you remember? What was
Young Frankenstein?
Young Frankenstein, maybe my favorite. Where the hump just kept getting pushed from one side to the other. Well, my eyes, we've got two monitors going here, and I'm watching the football game with one of them. Face-off coming as the Leafs trail by a pair. Draw one by Toronto, pushed by Nylander up on the right wing and in over the line. Trying to drive was McMahon. Couldn't get around the defense, and the puck comes back out at center ice. Tanev chasing after his man as the puck comes in front of the net. Almost stolen there from Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but the almost is the most important part. Cleared in over the line, and Carolina come back into their own zone to come out with it. Played down into the Toronto end. Backhanded by Oliver Ekman-Larsson up the boards. Gets it handed back to him back of the net. 16:47 to go in the third.
Fourth career hat trick for Jordan Staal. And you're right, his first one was with Pittsburgh against the Leafs. He's had 4 in his career, 2 against Toronto.
Nice. Marner in across the line. Got a shot in on goal. It was kicked aside by Kotkov, and it's played out into the center ice area. Hit there by Timmins. Gets the puck free, and it's played up on the wing now, and Matthews will launch it high into the center ice area. Played on the backhand by Dmitry Orlov into neutral ice. That bounces away. The Leafs are able to come away with it. And it's played back now, and both teams try to get a change going. Timmins up ahead for Robertson. Robertson comes to center. Nick Robertson, a nifty move to gain the blue line. Dropped it off by Domi. Domi sends it high towards the net, but Lorenz couldn't get there in time, as it is caught by Pyotr Kotkov and held. Frederick Anderson, also part of the goaltending fraternity for Carolina, but once again, he's hurt.
And the final thing, when we go back to that game, that 2019 game between Toronto and Carolina, the goaltenders for Carolina that game, James Reimer got pulled after 5 minutes. Peter Mrazek went in. Freddie Anderson played for the Leafs. All 3 have played for both the Leafs and Carolina in their careers.
Small circle. Very small circle. Draw to the right in the Carolina zone. Leafs down a pair, trying to come back after having a 2-0 first period lead. Necas lost the puck, brought in by Domi on the left wing. He drops it back. A wrist shot is deflected wide of the Carolina goal. And the Hurricanes will play it off the boards and out at center ice. Myers off the far wing. That went astray, and it's brought out of the zone by Ty Smith. He plays to the Toronto blue line, but Riley is there to play it ahead. It's going to deflect off a body and go down on goaltender Kotkov, and the Hurricanes are back in their own zone. Around back of the net is Ty Smith. Smith getting it ahead on the left wing. Off a skate, Stahl, who has 3 of the Carolina goals. Couldn't get in over the line. Here's Nyes working in with a shot off the glove. Big rebound in front. No one there to take advantage of it as it's played by Carolina back to the Toronto zone. Tanev around on the boards for Myers. Played up on the wing. Out at center ice it comes. Nylander can't get to it. Burns will play it back at center. Nylander blocked it. Almost stepped around Burns with it, but it comes back into neutral ice. Leafs are back to recover the puck. Out of town score. All tied up 10 apiece. Notre Dame and Penn State. Here's a pass in front. Oh, and Kotkov comes across to Rob Tavares, who was going hard to the net.
Boy, great feed by Mitch Marner to Tavares. And in hindsight, you think Tavares might have had time, Joe, to kind of cradle it and get it airborne over the right pad of the goaltender? Easier said than done, because that was a bang-bang play.
Wasn't he? Yeah. He was running out of real estate in a big-time hurry. He had to just get it to the net and couldn't get it elevated another 5 or 6 inches that would have scored.
Well, the 5 goals against Joseph Wall, that's a season high for him.
Against the boards, upended there was Tavares, but the puck comes to center. Leafs with Marner, and across the line, spun around, and it'll be brought out on the left wing now by Sebastian Aho. Aho to center, and maybe Marner now playing with Tavares and McMahon. As you mentioned, the Matthews-Marner combination is having a rough night in the plus-minus department. Puck back into the center ice area for Morgan Riley. On to Marner. Marner in for Riley on the left wing. Kicks it into the corner. Trying to swing it around the boards, hoping to find someone on the near side. Trying to get there to help out was Myers. And it's out into the center ice area. Myers ties up his man, and Pontus Holmberg will bring it back in over the line. Marner gets it into the slot. Gets another opportunity! And he slid it wide of the far post. He didn't get much on it, but it looked like he had Kochkov swinging too far to his left, and it might have caught the corner of the net. Into the corner now for Dewar around back of the goal. Connor Dewar up against the boards. Kicks it free for Kemp. Back of the net it goes. Here's Pontus Holmberg getting out in front with the backhand. That was stopped. There's a rebound. The puck's still free. It's in amongst the goaltender's equipment, but cleared away by Carolina. Good pressure here from the Leafs. They've had long shift here against the Hurricanes as the puck comes to center, and much needed change coming for Rod Brindamore's team. Launched right back in again by Toronto. Played off the boards and out. Yaska brings it in over the line on the right side, trying to drive the net. Stopped it up, got it in front, and a shot. Good pad save made there by Wall. Another shot is gloved by Joseph Wall, and that will stop play to bring a face-off in the Toronto zone. The Leafs trail 5-3 to the Carolina Hurricanes. 12:22 to play in the third. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The NFL playoffs are here, and teams have their sights set on Super Bowl 59.
Touchdown! What a beautiful throw by Josh Allen!
Right along with NFL radio leading up to Wild Card Weekend, as their panel of experts discuss the matchups and all the coaching news around the league.
That's a great city for football. They got a defense.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Wait, where's the webcam button? There it is. Hey, what's up, Leafs fans? Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight here on TSI. We are going after that plaque right there. We're going after 100,000 insiders/subscribers. Thank you so much for being here with us, chatting it up, cheering on our Maple Leafs every single game of the season and the playoffs. Now let's get back to the hockey. Welcome to the new insiders. Cheers. And don't forget, turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live. We go live a lot of other sports as well. We'll see you back in the chat.
Stanley Cups and 2 Conn Smythes, Wayne and Sid. Just like, it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM
Radio Network.
Joe Vaughn along with Jim Ralph, Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert. Armin Zagarian has decided that he needs to come into the studio here to help us, and Austin Mackey is pushing all of the right buttons.
By the way, Joseph Wall, second time giving up 5 in a game. Got a couple of empty netters against the Islanders, but he gave up 5 at home against the Islanders a few games ago.
Puck down into the Toronto zone. Domi poked it free, so did Tanev. Oliver Ekman-Larsson after it to get it up on the wing. That doesn't work. Kept in at the blue line. Kotkaniemi sends it around back of the net. Necas trying to play it in front. It goes back of the goal. Trying to come out with it was Eric Robinson. And now it's up against the boards for Domi and still free. right behind the Leaf goal. Upended there was Ekman Larsson, but the Hurricanes come out with the loose puck. Up against the boards, Nate Chask unable to move. And now back of the net, Ekman Larsson. This is a real hard-nosed battle on the boards, and the Leafs finally get a hold of it and launch it out and down into Carolina territory. Hustling back after it was Walker. Got it up on the wing, and out come the Hurricanes on the left wing side. Brought in by Ty Smith. Dropped it back. Nate Chask to the far wing. Winding and shooting. That's high and wide of the goal. It comes up on the near side. And Lorenz trying to bank it out. Had it intercepted and shot back in again. Wall will play into the corner to his defense partner. And up on the wing it comes. And then Myers gets it through center, only to have it shot right back in again. Morgan Rielly back playing now with Myers and not Tanev. So that is another change that the coaching staff has made. Back in over the line for Tavares. Got the shot to the net. Bounces over top of the goal. Swatted at by Marner. Out at center, and Tavares has it again. Pass intercepted. Sent by Slavin back in over the line. Working on the far side of Sebastian. Oh! Shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Timmins starting back for the Maple Leafs with half the period to go. Moving from left to right, a bouncing puck in and cleared away by goaltender Kochkov. Point shot is blocked. Kept alive by the Maple Leafs, and now Matthews working back of the goal. Ridden off the puck there a little bit late, but Burns is able to play it up the boards, but not out. Kept alive by the Maple Leafs, and then it's pushed to center ice. Nylander to Timmins. Shot in, but blocked, and a glove. That's a glove pass. Thank you very much. Very good at this, you know. You pay attention and you know the rules. You see things like that, Mr. Ruff. I just want to tell you that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's all right, neither do I. 5-3, Carolina, third period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Ah, at last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin peeking out of your ski mask. Put on your beach puffer and hear the sound of the waves crashing over the chatter of your teeth. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good.
Hey, hockey fans! Once again, thank you so much for hanging out with us for the Leafs here on TSI. Tonight, we've got the Philadelphia Flyers. It's Sunday night. We played last night against the Bruins and got it done on Hockey Night in Canada. Let's cheer them on loud and get it done tonight. Come on, we got to keep winning these games. I had to put on my Austin Matthews jersey because, that performance last night, amazing. Thank you for being here. Please hit that like button down below. It helps bring more hockey fans here to the chat. As well, please share the link out. The amazing work that you guys have done over the last year of games here on Toronto Sports
period in the books. 5-3, they trail.
They just had such a tough time with the Carolina forecheck, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Carolina gets on you, defense pinch, and they just suffocate you in your own zone.
Pass ahead, finds Nyes. Nyes is going to chip it down into the offensive zone and go in there after it. Matthews up against the boards. Nylander there with him, but can't come up with it. And it is launched out at center ice by Stahl off a stick and then played into the Toronto zone. Ekman Larsson up against the boards, got it around to his defense partner, Morgan Rielly. Got it up ahead at center, and Nylander turns, and now stick handling, and then dropping and heading to the bench. Pass ahead, Domi in across the line. Domi into the slot, and a shot! Oh, and a chance Robertson had, and that was kicked away by Kochkov. Played back in. Nick Robertson roaring in off the left wing, and Max Domi made a nice little play to help him out. Puck down into the Toronto zone.
Right now, Kochkov is the difference in this game, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Puck off a skate, kept in, and a long shot directed wide of the Toronto goal. Played ahead at center, and unable to get past anybody there was David Camp. Here the Hurricanes back in. Good play made there by Benoit to reach around and scoop the puck away from Ty Smith. Leafs will drop it back in their own zone. A long left wing feed, and Benoit sends it through center ice off the glove of Chatfield and played back down into the Toronto end. A wrist shot is wired there by Roslovic that goes off the blocking arm of Wall and up into the screen and out of play. The Leafs' next action is at home. Vancouver Canucks will be in town on Saturday night at 7 o'clock amid all kinds of internal rumbling going on. You played a lot of professional hockey and whatnot. Did you like all of your teammates? Did you get along with everybody?
I didn't like any of them.
Why do I throw these volleyballs up for you?
They killed my career. Every one of them.
If they'd have blocked more shots.
Scored more goals.
Scored more goals. Leafs get it down into the offensive zone. Pass to Tavares in front of the goal. Marner couldn't get a shot away. Almost stole it again. And it's cleared out at center ice. The Leafs buzzing a little bit here. 30 shots apiece now as Marner outlets on the left wing. Brought in over the line by OEL, a centering pass. That was knocked away. It's back of the net. Tavares is knocked down. Puck comes back. Tanev keeping it alive. In along the boards, McMahon to Marner. That shot blockered away there by Kochkov, who has been much busier here in the third. Leafs getting it back. Chris Tanev holds. Deflection in front. Knocked away by Kochkov. And McMahon can't come up with it. Tanev unable to keep it in, and it'll come to center ice. 7-11 left to play in the third. Leafs need one to make this an interesting ending. Here's Nyes failing to tip it by the defense to get in alone. Brought back by Stahl. He's the scoring hero. He's got 3. Played up on the wing by Riley. Riley ran into his own man. The Leafs are able to get the puck free. And now Nylander, a bank pass ahead for Morgan Riley. Played in over the line. Matthews into the forecheck. Can't get it away from Stahl. Played to the line and out at center ice, but Nylander is there. Nylander waiting for teammates to get onside. Now shoots it in. Round on the boards far side. Launched high to center ice by Carolina. Martin carries down into the corner, and it'll be grabbed now by Steven Lorenz of the Leafs. 6:22 to go. Rolling puck down in on goal. Played by the goaltender up on the wing, but the Leafs come away with it. Dewar in the corner. Pinned to the wall there by Chatfield. The puck comes free, and it'll be Svechnikov playing it around back of the net, then accepting a pass back on the left wing. Svechnikov to center. Andrei Svechnikov trying to get through the Leaf defense, but having none of that was Simon Benoit. Benoit plays it up on the boards, trying to chip it ahead to a forward. That doesn't work initially, but the Leafs do get it ahead. Brought in over the line and played off on the right wing side. Dewar goes into the corner after it. Taken to the boards. Pontus Holmberg couldn't help out. They battled for it along the boards, back of the net. Domi can't get to it. Neither could Dewar, who was tackled. And now the play comes all the way back down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley against the boards, got it back to his defense partner, Connor Timmins. Up on the wing, it comes in onto the right wing side for Dewar. He's going to snap it down into the Carolina zone. Changes coming for both teams. Back of the net, Domi tries to center. Couldn't get it. Now it comes in front. And a shot by OEL deflected wide of the goal, and it looked like he might have had that far side. Hurricanes back the other way. Roslovic in, closing, and the shot went off Tanev and deflected wide. Comes back to the point. Another shot in traffic, blocked by Tanev. Lead pass, trying to work in over the line. Robertson pulls up at the near half board, into the slot, and the stick of OEL breaks in half. Came back at center ice. Actually, it was Connor Timmins, sorry. Now brought in over the line. Net catch to the right wing side, and Wall makes a huge save. Better mark that one down if the Leafs do have some magic coming yet. Played around the boards. Timmins still without a stick, looking for help from one. It goes down into the corner. Tavares trying to give him his stick, and the shot is swallowed by Wall. And he's going to hold on to save Connor Timmins.
We've talked about this before, but especially in your own end. Somebody give him a stick. Somebody go to the bench and get another one. And Joseph Wall bails the Leafs out here. 4:19 to go in the third period, down by 2.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's Carrie's country. You're just living in it.
You can tell Carrie's in her element. These are her people. This is what she loves to do.
Carrie Underwood's own channel, featuring live performances, brand new music, and never-before-heard stories from the idol-turned-country icon.
You want to hear a variety. You don't want to hear the same songs. You want new things for your ear to...
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us again for another Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. We play the Flyers again. 2 games against the Islanders, 2 games against the Flyers. We're 3 out of 3. Let's go get it. Just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us, cheering on our Leafs every single game here on TSI and making a difference in our community with SickKids. I've got a lot of work to do to get ready for the college football playoff games and the NFL playoff games coming up over the next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing out that campaign link when the football games are on. And we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM Radio Network.
4 minutes and 19 seconds left in the third period. The Carolina Hurricanes leading the Maple Leafs by a 5-3 count. 33-31 the shots. Been a wide open affair to some extent, as the Leafs come away with the puck on the far side, and Nylander banks it around for Marner on the right wing. He gets it ahead, and Morgan Riley comes through neutral ice. Crossed the line, had it knocked away, cleared back at center, forcing Nylander back to retrieve the puck.
That's another line combination, right? Marner, Tavares, and Nylander.
Not sure that there's a defenseman on with Riley. You can't see the whole ice here. Back down into the corner. Nyes after it on the far side. Matthews got it back to the blue line. Riley had it knocked away, and a breakaway with an empty net. And that's going to be it. Well, that was the reason that we didn't have, because we...
Apologies.
Yeah, apologies. We could not tell you that the net was empty. And that's why there was the extra forward on. And that is why Jarvis has scored into the empty net.
And boy, that is going to be another minus. Ticked on to Matthews. I believe Marner was still out for that as well.
Yeah.
But the empty netter, yeah, that'll put things away. Leafs have given, seems every game they give up an empty netter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or every loss.
Yep. Well, we apologize for not being able to tell you the net was empty, because we couldn't see it on any of the monitors that we have. Well, we only got one monitor, so that's about it. Played around back into the Toronto zone. And it'll be brought out now by Dewar. We'll flip it down into the Carolina zone as it rolls in front of the goal. It didn't get jumped on there by Kochkov, and Connor Dewar almost, well, the problem he had the empty net and the puck was there, but his stick was knocked out of his hands. So he was going to have a difficult time trying to convince everybody that I accidentally kicked it into the net. Played out at center ice. Brought in again now by Carolina. Wrist shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. So the Leafs' 5-game winning streak and 5-game road winning streak is going to come to an end here, it would appear, barring a magical finish with 2:25 left to play in the third period. And they'll return home to host the Vancouver Canucks on Saturday night. Carolina playing catch with it, and then a point shot is drilled wide of the net. Burns on the near side, trying to play it in. got it freed up. Carolina over on the far side. Carolina 15-5-0 on home ice. This would be their 25th victory of the season. Hurricanes playing it around back of the net. 1:52 left to play in the third period, and the Leafs trailing in the game by a score of 6-3. Carolina keeping the puck in. A one-timer rattled well wide of the goal. Minute 35 left to go as it's launched high. A rolling puck that'll go down to goaltender Kochkov, and he'll play it aside. Brought on at center ice by Carolina. Broken up at the Leaf defense. Ekman Larsson playing it in on the left wing. Domi drives, tries to get it in front. That was knocked away. And it'll be played into the corner now as the Hurricanes get the welcome news from their public address announcer. Well, I could have told you that. But anyway, thank you. Minute to go in the third period. Carolina Hurricanes getting ready to enjoy a victory here against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first meeting between the two teams this season. Played out at center and now to the Toronto blue line. Grabbed off by the Hurricanes. They'll send it towards the net. The three stars in the game brought to you by Molson's. I think you can probably tell us now, Mr. Ralph, who you think.
Well, Joe, you probably wait till the fellas are done.
Yeah, well, good. Shot deflects high and wide. 10 seconds left in the game. As it'll come in front with a backhand that goes off the goaltender and over top of the net. And the horn will end a 6-3 loss for the Maple Leafs here tonight.
Well, I am going to go with the Carolina goaltender, Kochetkov. We're going to go all three Carolina. Star number 3 made some huge stops, would now not allow the Leafs back into the game, especially in the third period. Star number 2, Jordan Martinook, 3 assists. Star number 1, Jordan Staal, 4th career hat trick, 2nd against the Leafs. He is the first star of the game.
All right, Leafs lose at 6-3. We invite you to join us Saturday when the Leafs will entertain the Vancouver Canucks. 7 o'clock start. We'll step aside for the post-game show. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this NFL season.
Wildcard Weekend is finally here, and we have you covered. Can the Ravens win and cover as 9.5-point favorites over the division rival Pittsburgh? Will the Commanders and Bucks get over their weekend high total of 50.5? Make sure you tune into Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And yeah, and Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys get a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network, a 6-3 loss at the hands of the Carolina Hurricanes, the first matchup for the Leafs this year, and a Stahl Hattie.
Jordan Stahl Hattie for sure. Thing about life, it has its way of evening out, right? Over the weekend, Matthew Nyes has the +6 game.
God, they were on fire.
First of the season, Matthews and Marner not far behind. Well, less than a week later, Mitch Marner -6, Matthews -6, Nyes -5. The worst marks of Marner and Matthews' careers. Of course, Matthews did get a goal, came on the power play, so he didn't get a plus rating on that. A regrettable, forgettable night for the Maple Leafs top line in Raleigh tonight.
That's crazy how that can happen, eh? It's kind of sad.
Kind of even on the week.
Even on the week. And I was wondering if they were going to get some of the stars of the week because of all of the accolades they put up. Might have canceled those out. Yes, a 6-3 defeat from the Carolina Hurricanes. Bonesy mentioned it. They got a couple of really tough games coming up. Vancouver, next one, that's a Hockey Night in Canada. Dallas, the Devils, Canadians, Tampa, Columbus. They've got a good couple opponents sprinkled in there. So hopefully can flush this one and get back at it when they play the Canucks on the weekend.
Yeah, the big games almost exclusively from here on out. Maybe that's a little bit too far, but you're in a race for the top spot in the division. And the way that the NHL season is shaping up, there are about 3 good teams, really good teams in every division, and the wild cards are not going to be particularly impressive. Winning the division will be very, very important, and they're going to need less outings like this one in order to beat out the Florida Panthers, maybe the Tampa Bay Lightning, in the pursuit of that.
Hard to find a lot of players on the Leafs that did play well, but I will say it wasn't Joseph Woll's best night. I think he'll want a couple of those back. Hopefully not the fatigue of starting a major amount of this stretch without Anthony Stolarz. I just think it was a bad night for many.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, he kind of avoided our scorn throughout this one, but couple goals that he would have liked to have back. It breaks up a really good run from him. He won 5 games in a row, allowed 4 goals once, but the rest were 2 or less. So it's been a really, really good run for Joseph Woll, but one of his worst starts of the year tonight.
Yeah, and the most disappointing thing about it was that first 10 to 15 minutes was some of the best hockey the Leafs have started a game as of late. They came out flying, and as soon as Carolina got back in there with those 2 quick goals in 17 seconds, it's like they were like, oh no, this opponent is too much. It's too bad. If they could just capture that 15 minutes and replicate it, it would have been probably a better night for the Maple Leafs. Let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365 must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.